Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome atop Macaulay Stadium alongside Doug Rothschild. I'm Rusty Lindsay. Thanks for tuning in tonight for Wheaton Thunder football on WTSN. And I would recommend, folks, that you strap it down now because we've got some hard-hitting CCIW action coming your way between the Wheaton Thunder, ranked 5th in the country, 4 first-place votes in the D3 football top 25, and North Central, also in the top 5. They come in ranked 4th, also with 4 first-place votes in the D3 football top 25. The reigning national champions, and against the reigning CCIW champions. So, Doug, it's these two aren't strangers. We don't need to really beat around the bush. This is what it is. It's a rivalry game. The bell's on the sideline, and this is the one we've been looking at for well over a year and a half now.
Absolutely. I mean, this is a game that everybody, all of D3 will be tuning in for. We got Pat Coleman from D3.com here in the press box. We'll hopefully be able to get him for a hit at halftime if you stay with us. But these two teams, first time ever, these two teams have been ranked in the top 5 and faced each other. They've ranked a couple times in the top 10. Back in 2008, I think it was number 7 and number 4, respectively. But what's really interesting is you have Jeff Thorne, who's in his 6th year on the sidelines for North Central, and he sports a 53-9 record after their win last week. 53-9, which is amazing, but he is 1-6 against the Wheaton Thunder over that time frame. So 5 of his 9 losses, 1-5. 5 of his 9 losses have come to the Thunder, and the seniors for North Central have never seen the bell on the North Central sideline. So they're really motivated. They're the national champion. They come in as the defending national champion, and that's certainly the bell, if you will, they're going to ring tonight in terms of what they bring to the table. And they have a ton of talent back from that team. But the Thunder bring back a number of graduate seniors and a lot of talent, too, including the entire defensive front.
Let's start with probably the biggest change for North Central, and that will come with the loss of the Ghilardi winner in Brock Rutter. So that obviously one of the best quarterbacks D3 football has ever seen. Well, by the time he wrapped up his career hosting the Walnut and Bronze there at the end of 2019 and the Ghilardi Trophy, but they turn over the reins to a sophomore who is listed as a freshman, obviously because of things last year in Luke Lane, and a terrifically talented athlete, but those are big shoes to fill, and he's going to go against one of the best defense I'm sure he's seen in his career.
Yeah, it's going to be a baptism by fire, certainly, but he's got a lot of talent around him. They have all of their receivers back from their national championship team, and that is a talented wide receiver group. They have obviously Ethan Greenfield, who's a first-team All-American and would start on any backfield in the country. A phenomenal running back. And, of course, they have Sharmore Clark on the offensive line, as well as Thornton at center that are back, and Ebert at left tackle, who started 19 games in his career. So they have 2 freshmen at the right guard and tackle, and that's going to be the key for North Central tonight for Luke. But Luke's a very talented player. We've both watched some of his high school tape. I watched the game against Aurora last week. The kid he's much more mobile than Brock Rutter. He doesn't have quite the arm talent, and he's obviously not as experienced. So the Thunder are pretty good at disguising their defense, so they're going to certainly get after him.
And that's certainly hardly a knock to say that a kid lacks the arm talent of somebody who's been in an NFL camp like Brock Rutter. But you really look at this matchup. Wheaton was able to slow North Central's offense in the second half the last time these two teams matched up. That game was tied at 14. They end up winning 35-21. And we were talking before we went on the air, North Central has led in most of these games the last few times out, especially now that Wheaton has won the last 4 meetings between these teams. I think North Central's led in all of them and into the second half. But Wheaton has made adjustments along the way, and Jesse Scott's play calling in the fourth quarter was almost perfect against these guys a couple years ago on this field. And so it's going to come down to execution in a lot of ways because Wheaton has out-executed North Central. That's been the difference in the second half of these games.
Yeah, there's no question that in the game in 2019, the only loss that the Cardinals had for the season, it was 21-14 North Central in the middle of the third quarter. And Wheaton finished the game 21-0 and held them scoreless while scoring the next 21 points to win 35-21. So an amazing adjustments by the Thunder both on offense and defense. They also sacked Brock Rutter 6 times in the second half of that game. So that was an incredible performance by the Wheaton defense as much as it was Jesse in the offense. And it's going to take nothing less than that tonight because this is a really balanced and talented team around Luke Lane and the freshman.
One of the things that was a big difference maker in that game was Wheaton's number 11, Phil Nichols. He had over 200 yards receiving, made a number of big plays, and had 2 or 3, I think 3 touchdown catches in that game. Wheaton's going to need some wide receivers to step up in this game. It's a very talented North Central defense. Their back four is as good as you might see this season. And we did not see Wheaton miss some plays, and the wide receivers had some drops. And I know Jesse talked about it there in the pregame show that the offense has to execute better. Luke's got to make some better throws. Wide receivers have to be more on point. And I think you're going to need to see number 4 have a big night tonight for the Thunder.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely correct. There's no question that there are some knowns going into this game. We know North Central has a great wide receiving core. They have a couple great offensive linemen. They have the best running back on the field. They have a great secondary. We know that Wheaton has a great defensive front, a veteran quarterback, a couple veteran receivers. Those are all knowns. What we don't know is how some of these newcomers are going to be incorporated into the game tonight and how well they're going to perform. The other thing that's big, the biggest difference between 2019 and 2021, 2 guys. Number 9, Brock Rutter's not here, and number 11, Philip Nichols is not here. So somebody on each team is going to have to step up. Now, there's plenty of available characters to do that. Kaminsky's a likely candidate. They're going to try to get him the ball a lot. Blake Williams also a candidate. D'Angelo Hardy, Ethan Greenfield. All of those guys are capable of carrying the load for North Central's offense. Just a matter of can they get it to them. And the other thing I would say is you got to be able to, on offense, we talk about controlling the line of scrimmage. The Thunder have controlled the line of scrimmage in this game. That's why they're 5-1 over the last 6 years, over the last 5 years. So you've got to be able to control the line of scrimmage. But controlling the line of scrimmage isn't just your offensive line against the 4 defensive line and linebackers. In today's game, controlling the line of scrimmage extends to the perimeter. You have to have receivers that can block in the running game or run. You can throw passes behind the line of scrimmage and be blocking downfield. So you're going to see a lot of that. And how well wide receivers against DBs can be, how physical can they be, that's going to also go a long way to determining the winner of this game.
And that's where that experience in the North Central wide receiver core comes into play. We talked about Blake Williams. Blake Williams had a huge game against Wheaton last year. 6 catches, 158 yards. Kaminsky had 14 for 112, despite missing a couple series after taking a big lick across the middle. But Luke Anthony in that game last year, or we keep saying last year, 2019, time these 2 teams were on the field together, Luke Anthony was excellent. 350 yards passing, 5 touchdowns in that game. We mentioned Nichols had the career day with 207 and 3. So it's going to be, Luke Anthony's going to have to be sharper than he was in Week 1 against Northwestern. There were some throws that got left on the field there that you can't miss tonight.
No question. He's got to, both quarterbacks are going to have to be sharp. It's the battle of the Lukes in one sense, right? We got a quarterback named Luke on both sides. Anthony is the veteran, and he has got to step up for the Thunder because he's got to be accurate, and that's going to require giving him time to throw the ball. Wheaton has come into all of these games being very balanced offensively, and I'm talking about these games over the last 5 years, and sometimes they've won running the ball, sometimes they've won passing it. They got to be able to take what the defense gives them, and that's going to require Anthony being very sharp.
The running attack for Wheaton has been problematic for the Cardinals the last few years. Wheaton's been able to find a lot of success on the edge, like you talked about, the off-tackle game, and it hasn't just been the star running back. You talk about the year Wheaton had Jacob Crete and Jalen Goldsmith, both had over 100 yards. TJ broke him off the edge. So there have been a lot of running opportunities for Wheaton off that outside of the guard. How do you figure North Central is going to look to counter that tonight?
Well, they've got a little bit of a different defense in terms of their secondary. I think is arguably the best secondary in the country. They're elite in the secondary. They got Jake Beasley, who's an All-American. They moved Braden Lindmark, who was a starting corner. They moved him to safety in part because it looks to me like they're trying to bring a little bit more pressure. And when they bring more pressure, he's able to cover the slot receiver or cover guys man-to-man. And so what you're going to see is they like to play a two-deep shell. And if the other team has success running the ball, they go to man because that brings the safeties into the running game because they cover the tight ends.
Ian Rose singing our national anthem tonight.
Oh, you got to push them. Stupid.
Bright stars through the perilous fight, for the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streamed, and the rockets reckless star-spangled banner yet wave, for the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Our national anthem tonight performed by Wheaton student Ian Rose, as we are about 3 minutes from kickoff here at McCauley Stadium. Doug, the one thing I don't think we have mentioned, and we've seen it play a factor with the 6 o'clock, almost kind of tweener starts before you get into daylight savings time. Depending on what direction you're going, there can be some challenges, A, for a quarterback, and B, for a receiver. If you are moving, as we're going to see it, left to right, that sun is just low enough as a quarterback that you can lose a couple players sometimes. And looking the other way, right to left, as a receiver, depending on the angle that ball's coming, there is a struggle sometimes based on just how, for maybe the first half hour or so of this game.
Yeah, no, that's going to be a factor in this game, certainly until sundown, which happens at about 6:50 or so. So for sure, you know, that can be there's going to be some big plays based on that.
Yeah, until you get the sun to sink behind the Billy Graham Center over on the hill. We look over the starters. We start with the North Central offense. You mentioned the experience on the left side of the line. Will Ebert, the left tackle, set 19 starts. Sharmore Clark, a two-time CCIW Lineman of the Year. Jared Thornton, the product out of Homewood Flossmoor. And then the two freshmen at guard, Sam Pryor, the All-Stater out of Caneland, and Jeske Maples, the freshman out of Lutheran North High School. The right tackle, then the experience on the outside, Blake Williams, Andrew Kaminsky, D'Angelo Hardy. The wide receivers, Ethan Greenfield, the running back, All-American, preseason first-team All-American, and Luke Lanin, last year's baseball newcomer of the year, will get the nod at quarterback, as Wheaton will get the ball first after North Central wins the toss, and they will defer. So with that, we'll look at the North Central defense, since they will be on the field first. The front four, Dan Gilroy and Tyler Rich, a lot of experience at the defensive ends. Cameron Martin and Brandon Griefelt, the defensive tackles. Linebackers, Ben Wong and Storm Simmons, both returning starters. Sam Taviani, the linebacker, had an interception last week against Aurora. The corners, Nick Rummel and Jake Beasley, and Dakota Cremines and Braden Lindmark, the starting safeties for the Cardinals.
So if you're a fan of offensive line play, there's going to be some great offensive and defensive matchups to watch tonight. On this opening possession, one of the guys I really like on this defensive line for North Central is Cam Martin. He had a monster game in the national championship game against Whitewater. Last year he had 36 tackles, 8 tackles for loss, and 4.5 sacks. He had two tackles last week against Aurora. He's a really active player, does a great job with his hands of getting off blocks, keeping his hands and controlling the blocker. Really an excellent defensive tackle. And then Dan Gilroy at the defensive end is also a veteran who had a great national championship game. Last year he had 35 tackles, 12 tackles for loss, and 6 sacks for the season. Last week he had 1 tackle and 1 tackle for loss. So those are two guys to watch on the defensive front for the Cardinals as we come out.
So North Central will kick left to right. Wheaton wearing the new blue tops with the blue bottoms, piped in orange and white. Blue hats with the orange W, the white and orange stripe down the middle. North Central wearing the road white tops, black bottoms, black numbers outlined in red, and the familiar red NC insignia on the side. Number 4, North Central. Number 5, Wheaton. The battle for the little brass bell at McCauley Stadium on a beautiful Saturday night. And we are underway. A short kick coming forward is going to be Matthew Tucker from the 10. Outside the right hash, cuts it back, makes the 30, and he's upended across the 30 to the 33-yard line. A nice return by Tucker, as Wheaton's got a body down, but looks to be okay. And we will see the Wheaton offense for the first time tonight. The front 5, Gabe McGill, a preseason All-American at left tackle, Trevor Gabriel, the left guard, Jake Hibben, the preseason All-American center, Paul Fay, the right guard, and Graham Wall, the right tackle. 3 seniors, 2 juniors on that front. Adam Torini, Terrell Brown, and Matthew Tucker, the wide receivers. Wheaton will come out with the tight end, Burt McJunkin on the field. It'll be Tucker inside of Terrell Brown to the left, Adam Torini to the right side, and Luke Anthony will drop under center with Giovanni Weeks behind him. 1st and 10 from the 32 as Anthony looks over the North Central defense. Anthony will show run, steps deep in the pocket, going to go on the out. It is incomplete, taken away at the last second by Dakota Cremines. around the 45-yard line.
And that's a small little nuance there. Threw the ball just a little bit late. He's open early in this route. You got to get your foot set, and you got to lay that ball in there. Out in front of him a little bit more. A little bit behind him off his back shoulder. Difference between a completion and an incompletion.
Cremines actually had that on his fingertips for a second. That would have been a huge momentum play right out of the gates. North Central is almost showing a flat shell secondary. They're sitting their safeties right at the first down marker. That's Lindmark and Cremines as Anthony goes out of the shotgun. Give will be to Weeks. Weeks runs over a tackler, powering forward to the 35, and then he will be pushed back. But they'll give him the 35, so it'll be 3rd and 7 on the initial drive of the game.
And establishing the running game is going to be important for both teams tonight. Both of these teams want to be able to control this game on the ground. The Thunder, a little more balanced. The North Central usually comes in most seasons. They're trying to be about 60% run, 40% pass.
Lindmark was one who took the brunt of that run from Weeks before Tyler Rich wrapped him up and dragged him back. Anthony with 3 wide receivers on 3rd and 7. North Central will bring 4, stunt in the middle. Climbs the pocket, has time, hit as he delivers. It is complete to McJunkin across midfield, 40, 35, and he's tackled at the North Central 30. A great catch and run by Burt McJunkin.
Big difference between that and the last incompletion. He put this ball right on the money. Look at the way he steps up and puts the ball right on his hands with great defense and under pressure. Right there on his hands, and a big play. Huge play by Luke Anthony there.
Steps up, knows he's getting hit from behind, traffic at his feet, and a big play to the North Central 33. So Tucker and Daniel Ledbetter to the left side now. Twins mirroring to the right. 1st and 10 from the North Central 33. First possession of the game. McNeil stout in motion, setting up trips left. Torini isolated to the right side. As Anthony waits out of the gun with Weeks, he will look to the left side. Quick hitter, knocked down at the line of scrimmage, and it's probably best that it was. North Central read that route very quickly.
Yeah, this North Central secondary, I think, is one of the best ones in the country. They're great at reading the quarterback and breaking on the ball. They do a great job. So the quarterback has the ability to manipulate the secondary and the linebackers with his eyes and his feet. That's going to be super important for Luke Anthony tonight as well.
Yeah, they read that pretty quickly. A cut block across the way by the Thunder. Hibbins in the backfield as he goes Z motion, sets up left, and they will give 2 Weeks behind Hibben, and he runs through the hands of a tackle. It'll be 3rd and about 6 after a 4-yard run by Giovanni Weeks.
Nice job by Tyler Rich to fight off the block on the left side by Graham Wall and to fall in there and make that hit.
So Wheaton converted on the first 3rd down of the game. We'll see what Taylor Graham has up his sleeve on the menu this time. They mark it officially as 3rd and 6. We're 2 minutes into the battle for the Little Brass Bell. I'm Rusty Lindsay alongside Doug Rothschild. Thanks for tuning in tonight. They will send Tucker in motion to the right side. Spencer Peterson on the wing to the left as Anthony is all alone. Takes the snap, faces 4, and I think Wheaton jumped. And they did.
Critical there. They had man-to-man with Torini and Beasley into the short side, and I think that's where they were going to take a shot there. And now they're going to get pushed back behind the chains and long yardage. And these are the types of penalties that Wheaton, unfortunately, has been known for a little bit in the last few years. They've had a lot of little penalties, and these little 5-yarders that change it from 3rd and 6 to 3rd and 11 are big ones.
Well, especially when you're maybe on the edge of field goal range too, having not seen Tommy Gallagher extended this far. I'm not quite sure where that line is. Wheaton sends on a running back late. That's Weeks. So they'll have to make sure he's on the same page. Trips to the left, split is Torini to the right. They will look to jam Torini. Anthony is back, setting up a screen, delivered underneath to Weeks. Weeks makes the catch, makes one guy miss, has a first down to the 22. What a move by Gio Weeks there in the open field to get the yardage he needed.
This defense at North Central, you'll see on the replay, is a 3-man rush. They pull a lineman out and bring an extra DB in. It's a set they ran a ton against Mountain Union in the playoffs. And Wheaton spent a lot of time in the offseason studying this package because we haven't been very successful in the past at it. This is one of the things, is leaking a back out and trying to get it to him because those linebackers drop so far into the passing game.
Ben Simmons had a chance to make the tackle short of the line to gain. He was the one that whipped. 1st and 10 down to the 22. Matthew Tucker in motion, going to throw it to him in the flat. Has some space to the 20, and he will lower the shoulder and get down to around the 17-yard line, but that's nice, easy yardage, just an extended handoff on 1st down.
And again, simple throw and a catch, and you see, again, we talked about the line of scrimmage, the perimeter block up top. You see Torini putting the block on Cremines there, which allows us to get 3-4 extra yards and put us in 2nd and medium.
Most importantly, keeps you on schedule. Ledbetter split to the left side outside of Matthew Tucker. Torini Wright matched up against Jake Beasley, the All-American.
Look for pressure here. Shane Deerking likes to pressure on second down.
Sam Singleton alone in the backfield. He will take the handoff off the left edge, has a crease, but he's going to be brought down before he can get there, just shy of the line to gain for a first down. Be 3rd and a yard here for the Thunder.
Key play here. I know that Jesse has made a big focus on third downs and the third down conversions. You see Johannick, the center, comes in. That's going to put Hibben in the backfield, I believe, as the fullback. This is their big set on 3rd and short. Got to convert here if you're the Thunder. The big focus on third downs in this game.
Taviani, the linebacker, made the tackle there on the edge before they could break Singleton. 3rd and a yard. I formation. They give it to Hibben, and Hibben barreling ahead to the 10 and down to the 9. And does not spike it as Wheaton moves the chains.
Ooh, painful reference. Painful reference. Same end zone. 5 defensive linemen for North Central there, so they recognize the substitution. They do their own substitution. Hibben doing a nice job breaking some tackles, protecting the football, and getting the first down.
Running right over the defensive end, Tyler Rich at the line of scrimmage. 1st and goal at the 9. Hibben moves back on top of the ball. Some personnel confusion here. Spencer Peterson stays in the game, split to the left side, working against Beasley.
He's got to be on the line, I think.
That's 6'6", working against 6'3" on the left side. Anthony out of the gun, looking on the fade to Peterson against Beasley. He's got it! Touchdown, Thunder!
Wow. That's just physical right there. Tough matchup. That's an All-American corner. Beasley's one of the best, but Spencer Peterson is no joke, and he's a basketball player too. And he just cleared space like he would down in the post. He makes a great catch. Great opening drive for the Thunder, obviously.
So Gallagher on for the extra point out of the hold of Bickle. Good snap, good hold. Good kick, and Wheaton with a dominant early drive to put points on the board.
Wow, some big third down conversions. Again, that's what you're going to be. If you're going to watch a stat this game, you really want to watch the third down conversions, and the Thunder converted every one of them on this drive. Really exceptional, very sharp opening drive, being able to handle the line of scrimmage, get yards on the run, get yards out in the perimeter, move the ball down the field, and then good against good there for the touchdown with Spencer Peterson against Jake Beasley.
Yeah, that's a lot of size and a lot of talent going up there, but that's a big body at 6'6", and a matchup problem against pretty much anybody. So it'll be Gallagher to kick. What little wind we do have tonight, again, it's a beautiful evening here at McCulley Stadium. What little wind we have kind of blowing into the face of Gallagher from the near sideline to the far sideline. So going corner to corner in that regard, and he will kick it. This will be where it's interesting because you've got the sun right in the eyes of the returners.
Got to drive this ball. You got D'Angelo Hardy and Terrence Hill back there. They're both talented. And
this one will be popped up a little bit, going to be taken from the 13 by Hill, and Hill going to be wrapped up quickly at the 24. So nice coverage, and we will see Luke Lanen and company for the first time tonight against that familiar front four of Schindeldecker. McCray, Holiday, and Braden Anthony. Wyatt Lee, Ryan Schwartz, and Daniel Herber, the all-conference trio of linebackers. Caleb Egbert and Josh Shafley, the corners. Caleb Grodelushin and Luke Gamicha, the safeties. At secondary will have a terrific test against them tonight.
And Braden Anthony wearing number 93, wore 39 last week. And Dallas McCray, not as in this familiar 54, wearing number 56. Lined up over Sharmore Clark to start this game.
Same number his brother Logan wore in the orange and blue. Twins to the right side, split left. They will set up on a wing. 1st and 10 for the Cardinals. Lanen will hand off to Greenfield straight ahead. Greenfield powering just shy of the 30. That's an All-American running back who added about 15 pounds between the 2019 season and this one. He's at 5'10", 210, checking in. He is a load to tackle.
And if you want to watch some offensive line play, Sharmore Clark is one of the best in the country at the left guard. But the two freshmen for North Central, they're really high on. Sam Pryor at the right guard and Jeske Maples at the right tackle. They call Maples IHOP, apparently, because he has so many pancake blocks.
D'Angelo Hardy split to the right. Kamensky comes in motion right to left, so it'll be Herber lined up over 11. Rolling Lanen to the right side. He will deliver to the flat, and it's incomplete. And I'm not sure that Schwartz even saw it. Otherwise, he might have seen a gift falling into his lap.
Brings up a critical third down in the early going. Again, we talked about how important these third downs are going to be for the Thunder defense. They got to get off the field. They've now subbed into their familiar nickel package, which you're going to see 3 down linemen and extra defensive backs out there.
A terrific crowd on hand, rising to make some early noise for the orange and blue. Big third down for North Central here. Already down a score. Look for Kaminsky. He's slotted to the right side. Twins right, split left. Wheaton showing a little pressure as Lehnan takes the snap. Pressure does come. Rolls outside of Schindeldecker, looking downfield, and that is behind. Almost picked off, but it's completed instead to Hardy, and Hardy's going to take it, stumbling, had a touchdown, but he's stopped at the 33-yard line.
Wow.
What a play.
That's a gift, but hey, North Central will take it. They've had some bad luck in these games, and that's one the other way for them. Kaminsky a little shaken up on the play, but he's waving his replacement off. He says he's fine.
He was shaken up in this game 2 years ago, only missed about a series before he was back on the field, and a huge break early on. So 1st and 10, down to the Wheaton 34. Blake Williams split right. He'll match up with Egbert. That's 6'5" against 6'2", advantage Cardinals. They will give up the middle. That is Greenfield, and Greenfield will make his way inside the 30, down to the 29 for a 5-yard gain.
And they want to ride Greenfield as much as they can. What's interesting in these games is, as I mentioned, North Central is usually 60-40 run pass every year in the Thorn history. They've only rushed for 100 yards one time in the last 5 years against Wheaton.
Greenfield averaged 172 yards a game in that playoff run in the last season for the Cardinals. Lehnan will give again, looking to the left side, spins back, wrapped up by Anthony. It'll be 3rd and about 2 remaining for North Central.
So hard to bring Ethan Greenfield down in the backfield. He rarely takes a loss in the backfield. Great job, feet. He's got awesome feet. He's not an explosive runner in terms of having that gear to explode, but he keeps his feet moving and his pad level low. That's what makes him such an exceptional runner and very hard to bring down.
Cody Hart, the tight end, checks in, more of a blocking tight end at 5'11", 270. Essentially another offensive lineman on the field. 3rd and 2 from the Wheaton 26. Greenfield sits right as they will motion Hart. He sets up wing left. Wheaton brings pressure. Give is to Greenfield. He's not going to have the first down. But interesting territory on the field here for the Cardinals, who have an unproven field goal kicker here.
They're going for it. I don't think there's a second doubt and a second thought about this in Coach Thorne's mind. Down here, he's going for it.
So they will bring Blake Williams off the field and bring in another wide receiver, and the offense staying on for the Cardinals.
I would expect the Thunder to bring pressure here.
4th and 2 from the 26. Play clock's at 10. Twins right. They move a tight end to the right side. Play clock's at 3. Jet motion. Gives straight ahead. Flag comes up. It's a 1st down for the Cardinals, but I'm not so sure they didn't have 2 guys in motion when that play started.
Yeah. Which changes the equation. Yep, it's going to be a false start. That's going to push them back. And this puts them a little bit out of field goal range. I'm not sure the equation changes, that Jeff Thorne doesn't do anything. I think he probably goes for it again. He's not going to punt. And I don't know if this is a place where he can kick a field goal, really.
It'd be 46 yards. Thomas Mitchell last week made from 35, missed from 34.
Yeah, he's keeping the offense out there.
So 4th and 7 now on a big mistake from the Cardinals. So we'll see how C.J. Nightingale counters here.
They're bringing in the nickel receivers. Let's see if the Thunder are going to go with their nickel defense. But no, they're going to stay with 4 down linemen.
Matt Metz is split to the right side outside of Hardy. Twins to the left side with Blake Williams in the slot. Looking like he'll draw Gamicha. Wheaton brings pressure. Lehnan across the middle. It's tipped at the line and incomplete. And a huge hold early for the Thunder defense.
Yeah, that's, you got a freshman quarterback. He's just getting his feet under him here. Little miscommunication. He and Hardy, I believe that's D'Angelo Hardy, who was trying to get it to. They're talking as they run off. Again, that's early in the season. You got a freshman QB in games here. I mean, obviously he's not a freshman academically. He's been there since January 2020, practicing with the team, had a lot of practices, but speed of the game, everything speeds up a little bit. You got to just settle in. He's going to be all right.
First time on the road, top 5 national defense. and Wheaton gets the first stop. Jeremiah Tucker on the field here, and he is out of the shotgun as Wheaton gives a little bit different look at quarterback. And Tucker will keep on the draw to the right side, trying to find a crease, nowhere to go. Well defended by the Cardinals as Tucker runs for only a yard on first down.
And again, I think that's a package that when looking at the Mount Union film from last year, they saw D'Angelo Fulford run for a lot of yards against this North Central defense, and they put some plays in based on what they saw there, and that was one of the ones because Jeremiah Tucker is a really good running quarterback. He can also throw it. He's probably the best backup quarterback in the CCIW. He could certainly start for most teams.
Tucker ran for 73 yards and 2 scores against Northwestern in week 1. Pressure comes up the middle. It's picked up, completed to Matthew Tucker, and a great open field tackle by Cremines that'll bring up 3rd and about 3 for the Thunder.
Again, a critical third down. You trying to convert. If for nothing else, you just want to keep the drive going and change fields. You want to get the field position moved a little bit. So this is a big third down for both teams. North Central needing to get a stop here and show that their defense can stack up against the Thunder. So I know the Thunder, as I mentioned, they've spent a lot of time on their third down package.
Both Peterson and McJunkin on the field here, so a lot of big targets for Luke Anthony. Torini alone to the left side as Peterson will go jet motion. He will go join Torini to the right. They look quick hitter to Peterson. It's complete, and Peterson lowers the shoulder, but he's not going to get what he needs. Maybe got a yard, but it'll leave 4th and 2.
Yeah, you got to punt this. Good job by North Central defense. Again, looking for a mismatch over there. They know the way the North Central defense lines up, Jake Beasley basically locks up bump and run man on whoever's into the short side of the field, into the boundary side, and then they zone up the rest of the field. So they ran a little motion over there to try to get the receiver to block for Spencer Peterson, who's a bigger runner, throw him a little hitch route and hope he could muscle his way to the first down. The safety and the linebacker rallied to the ball and kept him short. Nice play by the defense.
Torini had a great block, but it was the linebacker Ben Wong who came from the inside to make the tackle. And again, the Sun will play a role here on this punt opportunity from Bickle. Bickle powers this one away. Wobbling kick coming to the near side. It will bounce. Takes a Wheaton roll inside the 20. Was hunting Cremines for a second, but will be down safely at the 16-yard line. So nice job by Bickle to turn the field, and we'll see the North Central offense for the second time.
As you mentioned, Bickle's such a massive weapon about being able to change the field and put now the North Central defense deep in their own offense, starting deep in their own territory. Great start by the Thunder. They started their opening drive going down the field to take a 7-0 lead, then stopped the Cardinal on downs after the Cardinal were fortunate on a third down conversion to move into the Thunder territory. Stopped them on downs, and then again North Central responds. Their defense responds and gets a stop, forcing the Thunder to punt. Here we go with the next offensive possession for North Central.
Bickle was the special teams player of the week in the CCIW, averaged 44 yards on 3 punts, and that might have been well over 50 if the one that he had down at the 1 hadn't been given a touchback because the gunner tiptoed into the end zone. Laying on a keeper as he pulls, and he will get out across the 20 to the 21-yard line. A nice play call there, just enough to slow down the pursuit of the defensive end.
Yeah, and that's something they did not have in their arsenal 2 years ago. As we know, Brock Rudder's not a huge runner. There were opportunities and times where he picked up some big yards running the ball, but this was not a steady diet in terms of that zone read, pull the ball and run. But Luke Lannon is a great running quarterback from his high school days, and so that's going to be a weapon for them. Picks up 7 yards on first down.
Lannon ran for nearly 3,000 yards in his high school career, 55 rushing touchdowns as a quarterback. 2nd and 4 after the first down gain. Power line look from the Cardinals, only 2 wide receivers. They will play fake off of Greenfield, rolling to his left. Lannon's trying to take a shot. He's got some one-on-one, and it is incomplete, and I like the no flag. A lot of hand fighting from both sides down the sideline, but it'll be 3rd and 4.
And that's a big test for Josh Shafley. That's one of the concerns for the Thunder is the young secondary, particularly the corners with Shafley and Egbert. Egbert's got a little more experience than Shafley, but Shafley doing a nice job there holding his own on the throw down the field.
So 3rd and 4 from their own 22.
I look for them to target. This is a set here you'll see down on the bottom of the screen. They're targeting Kaminsky. He runs straight up the numbers and curls, and then Williams comes behind him across into the hook zone over the tackle.
Looking to the right side, pressure, pocket collapsing, Lannon out of the grasp of one, out of the grasp of McCray. Pump fake, he'll have the first down running and out of bounds. Wheaton had him in the backfield and let him out for a first down run.
Again, and that's the danger of the freshman QB with his feet. He can make plays like this. You got to keep him in the pocket. Right there, the defensive end up top, I think that was Braden Anthony. You got to shed that blocker when you get to the depth of the quarterback. You can't go past his depth. You got to shed him and stop, knowing that your other guys are coming up the middle. Keep him in the pocket. If you go past him, you gave him an escape route out to the left, and that's what got the first down.
Only a 3-man rush. Wheaton dropping 8 in that scenario. Well defended down the field. 1st and 10 for the Cardinals from their own 28. Motion comes from Hardy. They will hand it off on a jet sweep, and Wheaton all over it. Really well defended, and a huge hit that will bring him down in a host of blue jerseys led by Ryan Schwartz.
Yeah, and they had some success 2 years ago, if you remember, on this exact play. It's a buck sweep or jet sweep type of a look into the short side. The Thunder know that, and again, you have to fight it off on the perimeter to be able to come up and make those plays. Nice job by the secondary, taking on the blockers, allowing the linebackers to run to the ball.
Luka Micha also in on that tackle. 2nd and 9 from the 29. Crowd continuing to fill in. We're a full house here at McCulley Stadium. 2 minutes left first quarter. Wheaton scoring on the opening drive of the game. Pressure coming. Lanin on a draw. Great timing. And he's going to have a first down and more. And he's tripped up finally by Schwartz before he can break a big play. Boy, that was a great chess match call by offensive coordinator Brad Spencer.
Well, you know, this is what they're going to do. This kid can run, and that's his strength. He's a rook. They want to try to establish a running game because they want to be able to throw play action to these receivers. And this is something that's going to get him into the flow of the game. So he's hurt the Thunder a couple times here with his feet.
And they're out to their own 44-yard line. Kaminsky split to the right side as they spin twins and now move the big tight end Cody Hart to the left side of the line. Wheaton shifting, give us to Greenfield to the right side, and Wheaton swallows him up in the backfield. He might power his way to the line of scrimmage, but no gain. Schindel, Decker, and McCray. Again, McCray wearing 56 instead of his customary 54 tonight, combining for the tackle.
Running over those 2 freshman linemen, Sam Pryor and Jeske Maples, but running against those veterans, Jake Holliday and River Schindeldecker. Not much hay to be made there.
North Central taking their time. We're used to this being very much an up-tempo offense, but on the road down an early score, I think it's smart to slow things down a little bit, make sure everyone's on the same page.
Not many early targets here for Kaminsky. Now, of course, the Thunder are typically having somebody on him and bracketing him.
Snap with the play clock at 1, and it's a power behind Greenfield for Lanin. Lanin's got the edge, and he'll have a big run into Wheaton territory, pushed out at the 39-yard line.
Again, that's been North Central's offense so far in this game, is one tip pass and a bunch of Luke Lanin runs, but this is well executed and blocked up. Again, trying to pin this defensive front, this talented Wheaton defensive front, pin them in the middle of the field and make the guys on the perimeter make the play.
1st and 10 down to the 39, what should be the last play of the first quarter. North Central has looked deep once. We'll see if they try to take a shot here before these field switches at the quarter break. Lanin will give to Greenfield straight ahead. Schindeldecker and company wrap him up. They'll give him a yard to the 38, and Wheaton will lead 7-0 after 15 minutes here in the battle for the Little Brass Belt.
Well, again, I think it's everything you built it up to be so far. A great game between 2 Titan programs, the 2 best teams in the CCIW, 2 of the top teams in the country, number 4 and number 5. 7-0 Thunder on their home field here. And, you know, interestingly, a couple people have wondered, why is this game? It was last time they played, it was here at McCulley Stadium, and it's here again. People wonder why the schedule didn't rotate. It actually did rotate, but that was last year, which was a missed season. Some of the CCIW teams did play games, and they all rotated the way they were supposed to, so the teams that opted not to play didn't get the benefit of actually hosting the teams that they should have last year, which would have been, this game would have been at North Central in 2020 had it happened.
And these 2 teams have opted not to play spring games anyhow.
That's
so
right.
And Wheaton ends up getting the back-to-back, essentially with the year off. If you look around the CCIW, a lot of action earlier today. Carroll with a signature win in the conference opener against Illinois Wesleyan, 34-33, as the Titans missed a field goal at the end of the game that would have won it. They also missed 2 extra points in that game. Carthage goes over to Langhorst Field and beats Elmhurst 34-17. Currently in the third quarter, WashU 24-7 over North Park.
So looking at these first quarter stats, the last few plays, this drive has actually patted it towards North Central's favor. Wheaton with a total of 13 plays for 81 yards, 21 rush and 60 pass. North Central 15 plays, 96 yards, 58 yards on the ground, led by 44 yards by freshman quarterback Luke Lanin.
So 2nd and 9 from the 38 as we start the second half.
Second quarter,
excuse me. Good catch. Sun starting to set behind the hill to our right as Greenfield takes the carry. He's stood up by Schindeldecker. It'll be 3rd and long. Coming for the Cardinals, they'll need about 8.
So Greenfield struggling, as you would imagine, against this front. Currently, that was his 7th carry. He got a couple yards. He's had 6 carries for 13 yards in the first quarter. But Luke Lane, the leading ball carrier, 4 carries for 44 yards. On the Thunder side, just 2 carries for 7 for Giovanni Weeks. And Hibben had 1 for 4. Luke Anthony, 5 for 7 for 60 yards and a touchdown.
Rolling to his right is Lanin, pressure in his face. McCray throws his hands up like, where's the hold? Into the end zone, incomplete, broken up at the last second. Coverage on the play by Daniel Herber all the way downfield.
Herber is such an outstanding player. He's a player that the Thunder lost 2 years ago in the middle of the season with a knee, and he came back for his 6th year. He's one of those 6-year seniors. Such a versatile player in that he can guard a guy man-to-man like Blake Williams in the open field, and then he's like a linebacker against the run. He's a key to this defense, being able to come up and make tackles in the run. He's a great blitzer, and he can cover guys man-to-man. Great coverage there on that play. 4th down again, the North Central going.
Something to watch. Play clock's already at 8. That long play down the field.
They're going to call.
I think they're going to have to burn a timeout. 3 on the play clock, 2, 1, and there's the timeout from North Central. Those are tough. Those plays down the field and getting guys back to line up in time on the 40-second clock.
Well, the North Central sideline was really complaining. They wanted pass interference down there, but I didn't see it. I thought it was good coverage. It's a great no call there. Herbert running stride for stride ball, slightly underthrown, back into the sun. Would have been a tough grab, but he looked back for it. There was incidental contact, but there was nothing that warranted a penalty. So good job by the officials so far in this game letting guys play.
So it'll be a big 4th and 7 following the timeout. First timeout of the game by either team.
So going back to finish off these stats on the receiving end, Spencer Peterson has 2 catches, 10 yards, and a touchdown. Burt McJunkin has a catch for 32 yards. Giovanni Weeks has 1 for 12. And Tucker has 1 for 6. On the flip side, D'Angelo Hardy, 1 catch off the tip for 38 yards. Luke Lennon passing started the first quarter 1 for 4 with that 38-yarder, which was obviously off the tip ball. The story of the North Central offense getting down here has been the running of Luke Lennon. And I think you want to watch it here because he's gaining confidence with his feet, and that's something he might look to do early, so you really want to spy him.
Trips to the right side for the Cardinals as Lanin waits out of the gun. Wheaton looks like they will bring 4. They will bring pressure. That is in his face into the left sideline, and does he get the feet down? He does. What a catch and awareness by Blake Williams to almost throw his feet down inbounds and make the body fit against the sideline.
Nice throw by Lanin there. Really nice throw under. Big heat and tight coverage. Put the ball right where he needed to be to the tall receiver, up by his hands. He makes a great catch. Certainly his best throw and catch of the night for North Central. Puts him in the red zone.
Stood in against Dallas McCray, who broke free late and got a hit in on the freshman quarterback. 1st and 10 from the Wheaton 23, just over a minute into the second quarter. Alongside Doug Rothschild, I'm Rusty Lindsay. Option to the left side. Landon will pitch it outside to Greenfield, and I'm not sure that was, he might have cost himself a couple of yards if he can just keep and get to the sideline there.
Yeah, as they picked up a couple yards there, and I'm not a big fan of running an option into the short side because you just don't have a lot of room to run the ball unless you're really having perimeter players crack down to seal the defense. But when the defense is pursuing, there's just too many bodies over there.
2nd and 8, they'll give him 2. So again, accuracy going to be a big key for Lanin, especially as the field shrinks.
Formation into the boundary, typically this is going to be to free up Hardy to the field is my guess.
And they will give to Greenfield. Breaks a tackle, breaks out of another one. Gets to about the 16. They'll hold him at the 17, so it'll be 3rd and 5.
That's Greenfield's best run of the night right there. Also a couple really nice blocks from the left side of that offensive line, which is the veteran side of the offensive line. You got Will Ebert over there, who has started, this is his 20th game as a starter, and certainly Sharmore Clark and Jared Thornton starters on the national championship team.
Nice job by Luke Gamicha to stick his nose in there and stand up Greenfield, giving up 20 pounds on the North Central All-American. 3rd and 4 from the 17. Pressure coming. Lanen's looking right. They throw into the flat. Nice catch by Greenfield, and great pursuit by Grodelution to slow him down and get help from the inside. Loss of a yard. And now we'll see if North Central opts to go again or if they roll out that field goal unit again. 1 for 2 last week for Mitchell. He also missed 2 extra points.
And he's called the field goal.
19-yard line launch of 2, 4th down and 6.
This looks like a little bit of a safe defense here for the Thunder. They bring in Spencer Peterson up the middle, but they're going to keep a couple guys at depth just in case.
1 for 2 last week against Aurora.
This is from 36. High snap. Kick gets itself away, and he missed it to the left. So the Wheaton defense holds deep in its own territory. I think that snap almost caught the holder off guard with how fast it got back there. The holder is Dakota Cremines.
Yeah, and you kind of wonder that, you want to keep this a one-score game, and Coach Thorne wants to be aggressive, but he also wants to make sure he keeps some of those 4th down plays in his pocket if he needs them later in the game.
And we've talked a lot of times, special teams can make the difference in this game. And it did. The last time Wheaton actually wore the all blues in the Bell game was the Sam Cody walk-off field goal where special teams were literally the difference at the horn. 1st and 10 from their own 20 following the miss. They will feed to Giovanni Weeks. Weeks across the center makes a great cut to get all the way out to the 27-yard line.
Great push by the inside of that line against that defensive line. You got Brinkman in there. You got Storm Simmons stepping up, but you got a great push inside from Hibben, Trevor Gabriel, and Paul Fay.
2nd and 3.
Just a 3rd carry of the game for Weeks, who now has 14 yards. 2nd and 3. Good opportunity for Wheaton to take a shot here off play action if they wanted to. They'll give to Weeks. He fumbled the handoff momentarily, but he's going to power his way, and I think he's got enough for a 1st down.
Yeah, he did. He kept his legs driving as a nice inside between the tackles run to get that 1st down.
Yeah, ball sliding around is a nice job to secure it, even in contact, and then back his way across the line of scrimmage. Talking to the running backs coach, Chaz Black, he said Gio was one of those guys that takes every single yard personally. There's a lot of Shola Olateju to his run style. 1st and 10 across the 30 to the 31. Weeks stays in the game, left hip of Anthony. 3 wide receivers, all of them split to the left with Spencer Peterson tight to the right side of the line. They will take on a quick hitter, and way too much for Matthew Tucker on the quick slant.
Yeah, a little bit there's too much sauce on that right there. You got to kind of take a little bit off of that for Luke, put it right on his hands, and you're lucky that ball doesn't get tipped up and intercepted. That's the type of thing that can happen there, but a little too much spice on it.
Yeah, that's one of those where you're glad the wide receiver makes a clean miss on that ball. So it'll be 2nd and 10. Anthony now 5 of 8 for 60 yards.
Haven't seen much pressure out of the North Central defense yet. They've been just kind of sitting back in a cover 2 shell. You see Beasley playing bump and run man at the bottom of the screen against Torini here.
Weeks on a long hold. That play took a long time to develop. I'm not sure if Anthony was reading or not, but as soon as he takes the handoff, he is swallowed up for a gain of a yard. Nice play by Gilroy.
Well, it's tough. You're trying to read the defensive end, and if he turns his shoulders to tackle the running back, the quarterback pulls it. If he steps upfield, the quarterback gives it. Tyler Rich did a great job. He stayed square, and he just squeezed down. Or it was Gilroy, I think, was the end there. He just squeezed down, which muddles the read, and which is why it took so long, and it's a great play by him, allowed the defense to get there.
3 down linemen for North Central. They have showed this a couple times as drop 8. And here on 3rd and 9, they're going to make Wheaton's wide receivers find a hole in the coverage.
Might have to take a timeout. Nope.
They will bring 5. Pressure comes open, late throw at the sticks, looking for Torini. Great coverage. All over that route was Beasley, and it falls incomplete.
Yeah, that's what he's good at over there. People try to run him off, and he's got such great speed. He can sit in a trail technique and just sit on those comeback routes, and he does a great job there breaking that up. I mean, that's your All-American corner right there. You're challenging. We've challenged him twice. We won once on the touchdown, and then right there forcing the Thunder to punt. Big win for the North Central defense. Going to get another shot here, down 7-0.
Yeah, Anthony might have locked on a little early and never came off Torini. So Bickle going to have to split the field again. Good snap, blocked up well, and a booming spiral kick for Bickle. Caught with room to return by Greenfield. Greenfield's got a seam up the middle. This is trouble. Greenfield angling back to the near side of the field, and he will be brought down on Wheaton's side at the 44-yard line.
Yeah, no flags. Great return there, and that's, look, Coach Thorne's putting his best guys in all the places to make plays, and right there he's got Greenfield in space, and he does what he does best.
Nice pursuit by Grotelushin to bring him down. Looks like, I think that was number 7, Motika, might have got away with a block in the back at the point of the return.
That actually wasn't Greenfield. That was Nick Rummel.
Correction, both number 8. Correction.
Yeah, starting defensive the corner.
So they bring him down at the 44, and this is a good opportunity here. Look for North Central to take a shot. Split 2 by 2 are the wideouts. Looking deep down the field. Got a man wide open across the middle. Coverage breakdown, touchdown. Cardinals, D'Angelo Hardy running uncovered right down the seam.
Yeah, that was clearly a mess up on the defensive front here. Don't know what happened. It was 4 wide, and I don't know where Hardy was lined up. I believe he was in the slot at the top of the formation.
Yeah, that's one of those situations. You can see that play coming. You got a quick turn of field, a short field to go. You'd almost be shocked if that wasn't a deep throw opportunity by the Cardinals. So now Thomas Mitchell on for the extra point. 7 of 9 in this category last week. He's already missed a field goal. Snap, hold, kick, and we are tied at 7. 44-yard strike from Lanin to Hardy.
Easy pitch and a catch right there. You can see, yeah, he starts coming like he's running flat across the field, which they run a lot. They clear out the bottom and drag him across, and the safety sometimes jumps that, and he just ran kind of a cross and then a go route. So good job. That's a great play design by Coach Thorne and Coach Spencer. They've run that play with a lot of success, and usually that receiver from that position is dragging all the way across the field as the 2 receivers on the bottom of the formation clear out long. And on this case, he started to drag across the field. Once he got over the ball, he broke and went straight down the middle of the field, and they caught the Wheaton DB trying to jump that drag route, and he wasn't able to react. Great play design, great execution. We got a tie game.
Hey, you didn't expect the Cardinals to be held out of the scoring column for long, and they hit on a big one. One play, 44 yards. About 9 seconds off the clock, and we're right back to where we started. Tanner Raines doing the kickoff duties for North Central, the freshman. And another short kick. This is trouble. It's going to bounce, and it will be picked up off the ground by Weeks. Weeks makes a man miss, and he's going to get out across the 25, but Wheaton's got to recognize that his kicks were not deep last week. The return men are setting up too deep. And a nice job by Raines just chipping that in there.
So Thunder with an opportunity. Jesse talked a little bit in the pregame, and all week he talked to his team about, hey, there's going to be some stuff that happens that aren't in your favor, and it's really about how you respond. I know that's been one of his themes with his team, so I'm sure he's watching. We should all be very interested. How does this Wheaton Thunder team offense respond to that play that ties it up? Will they go down and make something happen?
Anthony on the day, 5 of 9 for 60. He brings McJunkin in motion tight to the line. They will play fake. Anthony on a keeper. Anthony has the edge and close to a first down and be shoved out of bounds, and that's a nice look. Wheaton doesn't run a lot of design quarterback runs like that, but that's, again, it opens up the run game in a different facet.
Yeah, nice job. Luke Anthony, not a big runner. They don't do a lot of called runs for him, but very effective there.
Gain of 8 on the play. Pushed out of bounds by Ben Wong. McJunkin is split outside of Torini to the left side, so the tight ends are outside the wide receivers in this formation for the Thunder on 2nd and 2. And they will play fake. Anthony sidesteps some pressure, delivers. It's complete to Torini across the 45 to the 47. Torini was quiet last week, just 1 catch for 8 yards, but he moves the chains with a catch there.
And I think that's Cam Martin in there, who one thing he does really well is he has a spin move from the defensive tackle position where he initiates contact and then he spins around and pins you with his elbow. And he did that in the national championship game a couple times in the playoffs last year and got pressure. He had 2 sacks in the playoffs on that move, and he got on to Anthony there, but Anthony got the ball off in time.
Interesting look from North Central. They had dropped the linebacker Taviani all the way back almost as a free safety in that setup. Play fake again. Anthony across the middle, and again he's throwing into some very small windows intended for Tarini, but Beasley's all over it.
And they had a little something to say to each other there too. I think Beasley's taking it personal that he's been targeted a few times here. That's tough duty if you're going to try to get it in there. I mean, one thing that Beasley's really good at is being physical at the line and staying with guys on shorter routes. And he can run. I mean, he's made some great plays. He made an interception at the end of the Mount Union game to seal the victory. That was one of the better plays I've seen a corner make, just planning and turning and getting underneath the route to pick it off to seal that victory. He's a very talented corner.
Play clock at 5 as Anthony on 2nd and 10. Drops on 5, looking to the left side, complete to Peterson, makes the catch into North Central territory. It'll be 3rd and about 5. Wheaton will need the 42 to move the chains.
Again, comes down to converting on 3rd down. Not much pressure really on Thorson so far. He's also been able to get the ball out a little bit faster. Let's see if they continue to pick on Beasley. I'd suggest trying to go another way here on 3rd down.
Ramel will have the corner on the wide side underneath. And Beasley will be over Ledbetter on the top side of the field. Matthew Tucker in the slot. Spencer Peterson tight to the right, the tight end. 3rd and 6. Now they move Peterson out wide. Again, safeties walked way down here, and we've got...
Wow. Another one of those 5-yard penalties.
No, we got Jesse called a timeout before the play clock could expire. He's all the way down at the 25, which is why we didn't see him.
Gotcha. I believe they're trying to move... Look like they're trying to move Spencer Peterson out wide to put Tarini on the safety, Cremines, and try to run something down the field. That's typically what they're doing in that situation. We didn't get a chance to see it. See if they come back to it or they change the play.
Big play here, 3rd and 6 officially, almost the midway point of the second quarter. But we kind of thought this game would be more defense friendly than last year's version was. Last year the ball moved up and down a lot. You had those high-powered offenses, but we talked a lot coming in that we thought defenses were probably going to set the tone, and you probably set the magic number. If you can get a team up over 25, that's probably a good spot to where you can win this game today.
I think that's right. Now, this game historically over the last 5 years has been a second-half game in terms of points. We've had a bunch of low-scoring games that end up being higher scoring, so we'll see how this evolves.
3rd and 6 here as we get back out of the timeout. Looking into the flat, it's complete to Giovanni Weeks. Weeks spinning to the inside. He'll get the 45, but he's still going to be 2 yards shy.
So big decision time here by Jesse. Does he want to go for it, or is he going to kick?
He's in no rush to send out the punt team, even though this is a spot where Bickle can really put them in a pinch, and now they will send it out.
Smart move. You got a weapon like Bickle who is really super talented at putting balls down in the corners here.
And North Central is just going to put a guy back, but this is very much going to be a safety return where they're going to keep the defense on the field and just drop Ramel back to catch the ball.
Well, you have to note that Spencer Peterson is the personal protector, and he is a quarterback in his history, so don't know if there's anything in the game plan, but that is an option.
Boy, a hard down that almost drew North Central off sides there. And I think this will be a strategic delay of game to buy Bickle a little more space.
Right, they were trying to, on that down move, to get him to jump. Only one time in my history have I ever seen a coach try to draw a team offside with the punt team, but that would be the second time right there.
And again, you love to see this. You love to see the strategy. I'm not so sure if I'm Coach Thorne, I don't decline it. You know what they're doing. You can decline the delay of game and force him into a shorter field to work with. So now he can let the punt loose a little bit more.
Oh, it's not going to matter to Bickle. This is what he does best right here is put this ball inside the 10. We'll see if he can get one.
Bickle punted 50 times last year. He stuck 28 of them inside the 20. He stuck 16 of them inside the 10. Again, a safe return. This one's, I think, is going to go into the end zone. It's going to bounce at the 4 and walk right in there. So Bickle just not enough air to let his coverage unit get down there, and it'll be a touchback.
A little bit of wind at his back. It's a little tougher to judge the spin and the angle of the ball with the wind at your back there. Blew it into the end zone.
So North Central, fresh off the big play for a touchdown, will come back out. Lehnen 3 of 7 for 95 yards after the touchdown. He's also their leading rusher, 4 carries, 44 yards. Play clock already down below 20 as the Cardinals taking their time coming out here.
Yeah, so one thing decidedly for North Central is they're focusing on running the ball. They have 15 rushes of their first 22 plays.
Snap back. This is Lanin on a design quarterback run to the right side. Gets inside. Takes a big hit short of the first down mark. But again, those design quarterback runs doing a nice job getting the freshman, the athletic runner in Lanin, and getting him some room. That's a gain of, I think, 7 or 8 there on first down.
Well, that's what you have to do with this quarterback. I mean, that's his talent. And you got an offensive line that's a good run blocking unit. And so you get an extra blocker at the point of attack with the quarterback run. So that's a great game plan for North Central. And I know, as I mentioned, North Central, their balance is almost always 60% run, 40% pass. They've never had that in 5 years of Jeff Thorne's history against the Thunder, and they're focused on it tonight.
2nd and 2 from the 28-yard line. Give to Greenfield right up the middle, and he's going to be right at the first down. I think he's got enough.
He got it.
Falling forward. They haven't motioned it yet. Matter of fact, that sideline still saying 3rd down.
Wow.
Yeah, he fell across the 30. That looked like a pretty sure thing, and I think they're going to bring him out. Nope, they're just going to move him. Thought we were going to have a measurement.
Yeah,
Referee Mike Cunningham says to move the sticks.
Yeah, looked pretty certain that he got the first there. So
5th carry of the game for Greenfield. He's got 5 for 12 yards. North Central's game plan, if you're looking at this historically, this is pretty similar to what Wheaton did when Johnny Peltz had his first career start, just getting quarterback power off one side. Correction, that's 11 for 21 for Greenfield. 1st and 10 from the 30, and they will play fake. He sits in a clean pocket, now moving to his right as Wyatt Lee breaks through. He's going to stretch the ball across the line of scrimmage for maybe a yard. I don't even know if they're going to give him that. Great pursuit from the inside by Schindeldecker and Lee.
They wanted to take a shot to Kaminsky down this field, but they had him doubled with the safety over the top. He wasn't there, so he just took off running. Again, with Lanin, you just got to be really mindful of the defensive front, of getting upfield on the defensive ends and keeping him in that pocket, because as this game wears on, when under pressure, he's going to take off running because he's now developed a lot of confidence with his feet here, and that's something he can certainly do.
We've seen him almost always roll to the right side as well, and that was the open side to roll out that time. 2nd and 9, 5 minutes left here in the first half. Back against 4, Lanin steps up and will take off. He's going to have a first down. Thought about sliding. He's got more on the outside. Grodelution with a great tackle. He might have cost himself a first down by going backwards. What a hit by Grodelution. I thought he had a first down and maybe gave himself up to move back on the wrong side of the 40, but they're going to say that he has enough to move it.
Again, hurting them with their feet here. Nice job on the run here. Good blockers out in front. Great open field tackle there.
Yeah, that's a good spot there. He was right at the 40 when Grodelution wrapped him up. But again, the athleticism of Lanin has been their best consistent offense. Pressure coming. Quick hitter. It's complete to Kaminsky. Schwartz all over it. Makes the quick tackle. Gain of 8. But again, this offensive line does a nice job picking up pressure. Lanin has stood in whenever Wheaton's brought it, and he delivers a good ball there for Kaminsky.
Yeah, he's starting to settle in and develop some confidence. Nice throw under pressure, delivering the ball. Short little route there to Kaminsky, getting him involved. You can see Lanin's confidence growing with every snap.
2 catches, 16 yards for Kaminsky. 2nd and 2, pressure again. Lanin steps up, and he's not going to get away. Grabbed by McCray, the National Defensive Player of the Year, and he doesn't let go.
Great play there by the line, and that confidence held the ball just a little bit too long on this one. Trying to get free. Great hook there by McCray and the defensive front to keep him in there.
North Central's been put in 3rd downs a lot so far. They're 2 of 5.
Big play here with 3:20 to go before half. Big play if the North Central could convert and get a new set of downs running into half. They're going to get the ball to start the next half. So getting something done before halftime would be a big thing by either team here.
And North Central is going to call a timeout with 3:13 left in the first half.
So North Central averaging 4 yards per rush here, and they have 80 rushing yards in the first half. And again, that's after only going over 100 yards rushing in one of the last 6 games against the Thunder. And that's all on the back of Lannon, who's taken off running for a number of yards here. He's got 8 carries for 62 yards. Greenfield 11 for 23, just 1.9 per carry, but Lannon with 7.3 yards per carry. Total of looks like 20 rushing attempts total of all of their plays, which 20 of their 28 plays have been rushes.
Yeah, they're well beyond their 60-40
oh,
split.
And that has got to be the formula for North Central against this defense. They got to be able to control the clock, run the ball, and then be efficient when they do throw it. And they've done that so far.
Great crowd on hand at McCulley Stadium. They rise to make some noise on 3rd and 6. Again, a big one as we reach the 3:13 mark of the half. Kaminsky will motion to the near side, joined by Shafley over the top with help from Gamicha. Lannon faces a delayed pressure, looking for Kaminsky. It's complete into the Wheaton sideline. Easy pitch and catch to move the chains across midfield.
Yeah, they brought pressure, and they're going to guard Kaminsky with Shefley, and if you're North Central, you've got to love that matchup. I'd go to that every time if you see man-to-man or pressure. Easily picked up and easily converted. Big play.
Inside of 3 minutes to go. North Central has 1 timeout remaining. Wheaton with 2. Greenfield is in the slot left. 5 wide receivers. Trips to the right side. Lannon looking on a quick hit. Design quarterback draw. Now he's got room. Flag comes out. This is going to come back. Big hit on the Wheaton sideline made by Ryan Schwartz, but all that's going to be for naught as it's going to be holding against North Central, which will back them up back across midfield. 74, the center, Jared Thornton. It's been a pretty clean game penalty-wise.
Well, McCrae, I think, went right by him off the snap, and he reached back and tried to grab him, and the ref saw it and called it. So,
just the 4th penalty of the game. 2 against each squad.
No turnovers yet either.
North Central barely avoided one on their first drive. That ball was tipped up in the hands of 2 Wheaton defenders, and it ends up falling into the lap of Hardy, who turned it into a 33-yard run after the catch. 1st and 20, back on their own side of midfield. Clock still running, 2.5 to go, first half. Egbert down man-to-man. Rolling to the right side is Lannon, and he has a man wide open. That's Kaminsky, who sits down in a window and has a catch and a first down to the 30. Just stopped as the rest of the route rolled past him.
Again, great. The plan for North Central has been to move Lannon in the pocket, get him outside, get him in places where he can make plays, and there you're getting away from that Wheaton defensive front, buying time, and you find Kaminsky in a seam against this inexperienced secondary. Nice play design.
2 minutes to play here in the first half. 1st and 10 down to the Wheaton 30. Option to the left side. Lannon will keep. Lannon's going to stutter step and keep the ball to the 25. I think he saw Wheaton overflowing himself, and he keeps for 5.
As we mentioned, now they're running this option play to the field. A lot more room over here to run. Not as many bodies. You can make some more hay there. He could have pitched it, and Greenfield probably would have run for a little bit more. 2nd and 5, just on the net, knocking on the door of the red zone for the Cardinal here. They're starting to find their feet on offense against this Wheaton defense.
I'm not so sure if I'm North Central, I'm not taking a shot at the end zone right now, knowing that this is probably 4-down territory. 2nd and 5, already missed a field goal from 36. It's a keeper, and he's swallowed up at the line, nowhere to go, buried by Holiday and McCrae, and it'll be 3rd and 7 as the clock runs down towards a minute left.
Yeah, I don't know if that was a called quarterback keep or if he was trying to read it. If it was reading it, it was a bad read. He should have given it. It was a called quarterback keep. The Thunder just were all over it.
Cody Hart checks in. He's more of a blocking tight end, so you have to think that he's going to try to set an edge to move Lannon out of the pocket here.
Or they're going to try to max protect, expecting a Wheaton blitz on 3rd down and try to get one of these receivers free.
2 of them to the boundary to the left side. That's Kaminsky inside of Hardy. They do bring pressure. Now Lannon's trying to roll. They're setting up a deep ball wide open, and it's dropped at the 3-yard line.
Oh, my.
Alec Wolf drops it at the 3. It would have been 1st and goal at the 1. Instead, it's 4th and 7 back at the 27.
Yeah, it looked like there was a little bit of a delay off the blitz. He blocked for a count and then released, and the Thunder saw him block. And often when your guy blocks and you're assigned to cover him, you turn into an extra blitzer. And whoever's being blocked is supposed to grab that receiver and not let him out. So there was obviously a breakdown because he was wide open, and Lannon didn't have quite enough time to get a little more air under it.
4th and 7 from
Not
the 27. Not
going to get this play off.
Trips to the right side. Clock was at 0, and they didn't get it off. You are correct, and I think North Central are going to give them the timeout.
Yeah, they used their last one.
Why not? You're at 4th and 7, 30 seconds left. It's the right time to use it.
Boy, now the question is, do you bring pressure against this rookie quarterback, or do you just sit back? I mean, I think you got to sit back and make him make a play.
I'm not so sure you don't spy him with probably Wyatt Lee would be your best candidate to spy him and make sure he's not able to make a play with his feet. Either way, big opportunity. Wheaton, if they can hold right here, they'd have 2 timeouts. I don't see Jesse getting too aggressive, but
on the flip side, if you've got a pressure you haven't shown and you feel like you can get to him, get the ball out of his hands and make him make a pressure throw. So that's the equation here. What do? You blitz or do you sit back and cover? And it'll be interesting to see which package they have in the field, if they've got their nickel pack with the 3 down linemen, or if they've got all 4 down linemen, and they got all 4 in right now.
If it's a pressure, I think it's got to come off Lannon's right side. You've got to collapse the pocket that way and not let him roll that direction.
Yeah.
So we'll see what comes out of it. 4th and 7 from the Wheaton 27. Again, North Central has already missed a field goal from 36 yards. From here, it would be 43.
You got Herber on Kaminsky. That tells me they're going to bring pressure. Looks like this is man-to-man.
They do bring pressure. They roll Lane into the right side. Lane escapes the pressure, throwing deep into the end zone, and it is underthrown, incomplete. No flags, turnover on downs.
Again, trying to get outside the pocket. Good job by the end, getting upfield. River bubbles him a little bit. The linebacker scrapes hard when he sees that sprint out, that inside linebacker to that side, because you vacate the zone. You very rarely sprint out and throw the ball back across your body. So all the guys on those backfield zones tend to squeeze all the way over to the field side. They did a nice job. The linebacker comes and provides pressure, gets the ball out of his hand. He's not able to get enough on it.
Really good job by Schindeldecker getting that far upfield to force him a little deeper on the bubble. So we'll see what Wheaton chooses to do. They have 2 timeouts, 26 seconds to play with. Gio Weeks is in the backfield with Luke Anthony. And they're going to throw. Steps up in the pocket, has room to run. Comes back inside. He's going to go down before he can get to the first down, and Jesse's going to call a timeout with 17 seconds left. So again, there's no harm, and if you can get it about to midfield, you've got a guy in Spencer Peterson that can win a jump ball in the end zone. Yeah, and we just don't know what Tommy Gallagher's line is. We haven't seen him. He hit one off the left upright in his lone field goal attempt last week, and we just don't know what that aim. Normally, you say you aim for the 30 or so for a field goal, but you've got tall targets. You've got McJunkin, you've got Peterson, who can use that box out experience that he's gained from Coach Schauer to maybe win you a jump ball. But I think your aim is just to get into Hail Mary range.
Yeah. So North Central also has that 3-man rush 8 DB package that they currently have in the game. 3 guys rushing, and they're going to drop coverage. They're going to have a 3 deep, 5 under, and those guys underneath are going to try to reroute the receivers, get a little physical with them so they can't run down the field as far.
Worth reminding that the clock stops on a first down, so if Wheaton is able to get a first down, they can rush up and clock it and save that timeout. Ledbetter coming down in motion, 3-man rush, stepping up again as Anthony delivers. It's complete to Weeks. Weeks to the near side. He's going to break 1 tackle, go down. Clock continues to run. They stand him up at the 42, and now they're going to. Jesse's calling for the clock, so trying to keep that timeout, trying to run 1 quick play. Spiked with 4, and I don't know that they have 2 plays.
No, they don't. They got 1.
Yeah, and the clock actually rolled to 2. This should be at 5 or 4. I think it should be at 4. But again, that's you got to have the awareness if you're Weeks to give yourself up. Seconds are more important than yards there when you're hemmed in.
Please reset the game clock to 3 seconds.
I mean, 3 or 4, it doesn't really matter at this point. You're not stealing a play out of a second. Sure enough, here comes McJunkin. Here comes Peterson. North Central wisely counters. They've got Kaminsky back as a defensive back.
Yeah, I don't like this. This is a long way. You got to throw the ball you got to throw the ball 60 yards in the air to get it into the end zone.
I'm not so sure you don't just hand off on a draw here.
I don't think Luke's got this kind of arm strength.
Does have the wind at his back, but not enough. I would hand it off to Weeks and try to use your numbers advantage where you're at. Get downfield where you've got offensive players trying to make tackles. They'll need to gain 58 yards. They drop back. Anthony does have the time. He goes underneath to Weeks on a clear out. Long's trying to catch him. Weeks inside the 30, 25. They'll bring him down to the 22. So a little bit of a mixture of aggressive and conservative there. Gets him down to the 22. But a heck of a first half for both squads there. And about what we expected, Doug. The defenses have been good. The offenses have been trying to find weaknesses. And we've got no separation at halftime.
Yeah, I think it's everything everybody wanted out of this game. You had both teams making plays. I think North Central's game plan has been exactly what they needed to do. Come in trying to establish the run, running the ball more than they're passing it for the first time in a long time, letting that freshman quarterback gain a little confidence. He's got a first half. It'd be interesting to see if they open it up a little bit. We're
going to step aside for a quick break. We're going to come back in the second half of the halftime break with an interview with D3 Football's Pat Coleman. You're watching Wheaton Thunder Football on WTSN and the battle for the Little Brass Bell.
Welcome to the Armourding Center for Music and the Arts. We are thrilled with the provision of this building for Wheaton College, as it allows for professional training, opportunity, and experience for students, faculty, and staff, for many guests who come to this facility. We placed acoustics at the heart of the planning and the construction of this building, such that each room would sound beautiful and would best equip those using those spaces as they train and are equipped for the service to church and society. We are delighted that you are joining us and exploring the possibilities for you here in the Armourding Center for Music and the Arts. We are delighted that this building supports and encourages, makes possible artistic engagement in ways that we've not known before. But we most look forward to each person who would be here, a part of this vibrant artistic community of faculty, staff, students, and alumni, together joined in serving our Most High God.
Hello, my name is Julie Davis, and I serve as the athletics director. Most of my time is spent on things related to budget, personnel, or facility development, or my personal favorite, cheering on our Wheaton Thunder sports teams. Right now, we are in the Crosser Sports Complex, one of the busiest buildings on campus. This is where you can come for free and work out in a beautiful weight room, or play pickup basketball or volleyball, or swim a few laps in the pool. The Crosser Complex is the home of King Arena, the competitive venue for varsity volleyball, men's and women's basketball, and wrestling, as well as the Leader House Natatorium, the home of our Thunder swim teams. Wheaton competes as a member of NCAA Division III, and we belong to the College Conference of Illinois and Wisconsin, a 9-member conference which regularly boasts national championships across many sports. The mission of Wheaton Athletics is to develop faith, character, and leadership through competitive athletics. We believe the value of competitive athletics is the personal and spiritual growth that occur as a result of pursuing excellence, of pushing yourself to be your best. At Wheaton, you don't have to settle. Here you can pursue academic and athletic excellence that is intentionally integrated with faith in Christ. We offer 10 varsity sports for women and 11 for men, and there is a blend of recruited and non-recruited students on our teams. If you want something more recreational and less competitive, we offer club sports and intramurals also. One of the best things about Wheaton Athletics is the quality and commitment of the coaching staff. Wheaton coaches are trusted mentors and guides who are driven to help you achieve your spiritual, academic, and athletic goals. If you're serious about your faith and your studies and your sport, you will want to give Wheaton a hard look. Wheaton Athletics is distinct because of how well it combines and excels in all 3 of those areas: authentic faith, first-rate academics, and high-caliber athletics. If varsity sports are something you may be interested in, I recommend you reach out to a coach and complete the recruit form found on the Varsity Athletics website. See athletics.wheaton.edu for a full list. I hope to see you real soon, either in a Wheaton uniform or using this beautiful facility for your daily workout. Welcome to Wheaton.
Hello, my name is Phil Reich, and I'm the president of Wheaton College, and I love the fact that you are checking out Wheaton College. This could be just the right place for you to grow. Grow in the use of your mind, grow in the heart that God has given you for the needs of the world. Here are a few things that I'd love for you to know about a Wheaton education. It is Christ-centered from beginning to end. There's not one place you can go on our campus, not a classroom, not a student organization, not an athletics field, not a music performance area, not a dining hall, not a dorm room, where Jesus Christ is not known and acknowledged as Lord. This is a place of grace, where students from all different backgrounds and experiences are brought together into one community and learn to love one another in that community. It's a place where people love to see one another succeed and are willing to help you whatever you need. Wheaton College is also an academically rigorous community of a particular kind. We're a liberal arts college, not politically or theologically liberal, but liberal in this sense, that which liberates, which brings freedom. That goes all the way back to the ancient Greeks. We want to give you an opportunity to fall in love with all kinds of different academic subjects as you choose your courses through our Christ at the Core curriculum, as you explore literature and philosophy and the sciences, as you learn sociology and anthropology and political science and just all the different ways of looking at the world. You will see more completely the design that God has for human beings and the potential that we have for doing His kingdom work in the world. And you'll do that under the loving mentorship of our faculty. True expert scholars, in many cases not only nationally known but world-renowned, some of them leading our rich academic centers. They are also people who love to have personal relationships with our students, to welcome you into their homes and into their hearts. For many of our students, this is the place, both spiritually and intellectually, where you can be on a whole campus full of peers and develop your gifts to the very fullest. Iron sharpening iron. Our hope for our students is that they will make the difference in the world for Jesus Christ that someone with their gifts and experiences can make. You have only one life to give to Jesus Christ and to His kingdom. Could it be that Wheaton College is an important place on your spiritual journey that will prepare the way for everything that is to follow. That is our hope, and we look forward to the day when we can say to you, welcome to Wheaton.
Welcome back to Top McCully Stadium. I'm Rusty Lindsay, joined with Doug Rothschild as we get you caught up on what you may have missed there in the first half. Wheaton and North Central tied at 7. As we have reached the midway point, Wheaton scored on its first drive, capped with a 9-yard pass from Luke Anthony to Spencer Peterson. North Central answered with a one-play 44-yard pass from Luke Lanin to D'Angelo Hardy at the 9:56 mark of the second quarter. And that's where we stand here at the halftime, and we are joined inside the press box here by the editor of D3Football.com, Pat Coleman. And Pat, busy day for you, but certainly quite about what we expected here coming into this one and what we've seen for 30 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that I'm not hearing myself very well, but you guys are hearing me okay?
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, all right. Sorry. As a former radio guy myself, I get caught up in those things. Yeah, absolutely. Like seeing the game, I think we expected, seeing a defensive battle, seeing a young quarterback trying to figure out what they can do against a very veteran defense, and then seeing a quarterback with some experience kind of seeing what they could do the other direction too.
So Pat, as you come to this game, I mean, this is a big matchup. Obviously, everybody's been looking for this, waiting for this top 5, and we haven't seen D3 football for a couple years. This is week 3 after really a 2-year hiatus. Kind of, what are you looking for? As you're trying to measure? We know these are 2 top teams because they have so much returning that they're going to be in the mix, regardless of who wins this, probably down the road. But as you look at the national landscape and in games like this, you've got Aurora. How do you think about trying to benchmark some of these teams as you and your team kind of rank the top 25 or figure out who's going to be there when the dust settles?
Well, that's a good question. When you started throwing Aurora into the mix, it's like, I don't know. I don't know if our voters know what to do with all those comparisons to Aurora between, them taking St. John's to the brink and then, North Central just basically obliterating them last week. So that's very interesting. I think that this year, especially with all of the unknowns, maybe half of the teams played somewhere between, played a game in the spring, right? And half of the teams didn't. And generally, about half of the teams in our poll are pretty similar that way. The poll breaks down pretty similarly. I think we're just, we come in with with an open mind, but also know that, like you said, these 2 programs bring back a bunch of guys from a team that went to the national quarterfinals, a team that won the national championship. We know those teams are good, and you see right now the strata in our poll, right? There are 5 really good teams that voters could put in just about any order, and I don't think that changes after tonight, especially considering if the second half of this game is like the first half and it's a nice tight battle. I don't see the voters dropping either team out of the top 5.
And I know before this game you came from Janesville and watching Whitewater against Barry, 2 top 25 teams, but as you mentioned, the difference between number top 5 and the rest of the top 25 is pretty big. But you think about Whitewater, and they're not getting any number 1 votes, but they've been pretty dominant so far. What do you make of that, just that there's so many good teams in the top 5?
Yeah, I think so. Like, we used to be 1 or 2 teams that would get number 1 votes, right? And I think this year, because of various reasons, we have really good reason to believe in 5 teams pretty equally. And I think part of that, too, is, let's be honest about Mount Union, right? They went out in the second round of the playoffs a couple years ago. Now, granted, to the eventual national champion, but they gave up a ton of points. Their coach left. A bunch of guys graduated. A bunch of guys who had extra eligibility did not come back this year for them either. So, I think that just kind of leaves things pretty wide open, right? We had a non-Purple Power win a national championship. I think, things are a little more open here in 2021 than we necessarily thought going into the 2019 playoffs, for example.
Pat, a lot can get made about it, especially when you're at the top and you've got 5 teams with first place votes, and there's obviously some parity there, but there's a lot that can be made when a team doesn't move up after one game. So can you give people at home what you're kind of looking for, especially when you get to the top? I mean, you could, as things loosen up at the bottom, there's room for movement, but when you get to the top, it can take a lot to move a team up a line. I mean, it's just hard to move at that point.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm going to use Wheaton as an example, right? Your audience is probably pretty familiar with Wheaton. I'm just going to guess, right? Beating Northwestern, you could have beaten Northwestern 222-0, and that wouldn't have really made any difference in the eyes of any of the voters, I'm pretty sure. And I think that, we know, the voters know what's coming up. The voters know what conference play looks like for all of these teams, and they know that, the big challenges are ahead of a team like Wheaton, or really even for North Central as well. I think you really, in order to move up, somebody in the top 5 has to lose a game that they're not supposed to, or in a manner that they're not supposed to, and you have to also do something, I think, pretty impressive yourself. And obviously, with a 10-game schedule, those opportunities are pretty few and far between. It is really as much about attrition as it's very hard for someone to win and leap up. But this is probably a year where it could happen because, like I said, there's a lot of unknowns coming into the year.
And you have, what's interesting about these two teams, I'm interested in your take on this and what you kind of think, what you're expecting in the second half, but you have, on the national scene, North Central has kind of got that wow power because they were the national champs and they had a very impressive run through the playoffs. Yeah. Wheaton stumbled of their own accord here at home in the quarterfinals against St. John's, and so they didn't make it to the Stag Bowl to get the matchup. But by the same token, as I mentioned at the start of the broadcast tonight, Jeff Thorne is 52-9 in his 5 years at the helm of North Central. He's 1-5 against Wheaton, and so 5 of those 9 losses have come against this Thunder team. Yet North Central is often favored or picked because of their national promise. So I get that. How do you kind of look at that or explain that to voters out there?
Well, I think one of the things, and I try not to talk directly to the voters, or maybe talk to the audience a little bit more. That's
what I meant.
Yeah.
Audience,
okay. Good.
I wasn't addressing the voters.
Good. I think the thing is, there are 25 voters with 25 individual opinions, right? I mean, so myself and Greg Thomas, who's doing our Around the Nation column, are on the record that Wheaton is our number 1 team right now, and for me, that is, based off of the fact that Wheaton's the last team that beat North Central. Went toe-to-toe with St. John's, and then you do all sorts of little machinations and math to think about, who's coming back and that sort of thing, right? Brock Rudder's not on the other sideline, that sort of thing. I think that was a big deal for us, but not every voter feels the same way. I'm very interested, about the 13 voters that are voting for Mary Hardin Baylor number 1 because, Mary Hardin Baylor, traditional power, et cetera, looked pretty good in the spring, and I think if you're voting Mary Hardin Baylor, it's probably because you looked at what the Crew did in the spring and said, oh, they really solved their offense. New quarterback, that's always been the question for them. Their defense has always been great, but the offense, when they're, the difference between Mary Hardin Baylor losing in the quarterfinals and winning the national championship is basically who plays quarterback and how they run that offense. So if you look at that spring 5-0 and think, okay, Mary Hardin Baylor's figured that out, then that's probably why you vote Mary Hardin Baylor number 1. And boy, with 5 good teams to choose from, it's hard to go wrong right now.
Pat, I gotta ask you this. After the year we had last year, the non-year we had last year, and getting things in the spring, how great has it been getting back into stadiums, getting your team back on the road, and actually having some football to provide that great coverage that you guys provide for?
It's been great. I tell you, as much as a sabbatical, as it were, was probably okay, it was not a good year. It's not fun. It's not fun to sit on the sidelines. And the little, sampling we had of football in the spring was not was not really the same sort of thing, right? We've been very fortunate. We've had some some people kind of step up on our behalf over the course of the past year and a half or so, and because of that, we actually not only able to put people back in stadiums again, but I also have someone back in the office, so to speak, running the scoreboard. Like, I would come to a game like this, or I'd be at Whitewater, and I would have to also be watching like 10 or 12 other games on live stats just to keep the scoreboard updated. I now am able to hire somebody else to do that. That is super helpful, and I hopefully, that's the scoreboard is a big deal for us at d3football.com on a game day.
So, Pat, in the pick'ems, I think you picked Wheaton for this game, and I think you picked Dallas McCray as the player of the game.
Yeah.
You staying with that for the second half?
Well, I mean, I certainly feel really good about picking a defensive guy, right?
Yeah.
So far, so good. I have a hard time finding Dallas McCray because I'm not seeing a number 54 out there, but otherwise...
he's 56 today. You probably figured out.
Yeah, this is... it's not an inside joke, right? It's
right.
We know this. He's had a pretty good game in terms of the tackles so far. It's hard. Who's going to, in a real-world situation... Not very many people are going to vote for a defensive lineman as the player of the game, but I always, want to make sure that those guys get that recognition when it's deserved. So I'm sticking with it, yeah.
Well,
Plus, I'm on the Wheaton broadcast, so if you send me over to the other booth, who knows what I might have to say.
Might be Ben Wong as the player of the game. Well, Pat, we appreciate all the great coverage you and your team provide with d3football.com. I'm sure you can get plenty of coverage after this game wraps up. And again, keep an eye on we got a lot of games still going on around the country, so you can keep an eye on the scoreboard and everything. And again, thanks for stopping by, and thanks for the great coverage that your team provides for D3 football.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me on.
All right. Well, let's go through. You want to go through the first half stats here, Rusty?
Absolutely. And again, a little skewed on both sides, right? Because North Central had one play for 44 yards. Wheaton had one play for 58 there at the end of the half. But North Central runs 34 plays for 222 yards there in the first half. Wheaton runs 27 plays for 172 yards. Giovanni Weeks leading the rushing game for the Thunder. 5 carries, 19 yards. Luke Anthony, 10 of 15 through the air for 123 yards and a score. Gio Weeks with that catch there at the end. Excuse me, that's 35 yards on that catch. 4 catches, 58 yards. As we get set to go here in the second half, we'll get you the rest of the stats after the kickoff, as this one is boomed. It's almost through the end zone by Gallagher. And then North Central led in the rushing game, 10 carries, 61 yards. We do have some laundry to sort out here after this play. 61 for Lanen. Greenfield 11 for 21. D'Angelo Hardy took one jet sweep for a yard. Lanen 6 of 12 passing, 139. He was sacked once, 1 touchdown. That was D'Angelo Hardy with the 44-yarder. He's at 2 for 22. He also had that big catch off the deflection. Kaminsky 3 for 44. Blake Williams 1 for 13. So we're going to have to sort up some flag work. Defensively, Ben Wong, the leading tackler, with 5 for the Cardinals. Ryan Schwartz with 8 for Wheaton. And we mentioned Dallas McCray, 5 tackles, 1 sack, 2 tackles for loss.
So the big defense, obviously you're getting a personal foul, I think, as the ball went into the end zone. A couple of North Central players laid some wood on some Wheaton guys running down the field. The big thing that sticks out to me on these stats is the rushing attempts. 22 of the 34 North Central plays have been rushes. For Wheaton, it's only 11 of their 22 of the 34 plays for North Central, only 11 of the 27 for Wheaton.
Take you around the conference after this first down play for North Central. 1st and 10 back at their 13. It's Greenfield on first down, finds a seam across the 20 to the 21. Elsewhere in the conference, Carroll holds on to defeat Illinois Wesleyan up in Waukesha on a missed field goal as time expired. 34-33. Carthage wins its opener over Elmhurst 34-17. Closing minutes, WashU beating North Park 41-7. And nearing halftime, Augustana 14-7. over Milliken. That's kind of a battle to figure out who's going to step up behind these two teams. That game is at halftime between the Vikings and the Big Blue. 2nd and 6 for the Cardinals as Lanen will give. Play fake, sets in the pocket, climbs. He's going to look to run. Schwartz trying to close it down and brings him down back at the 16. What a tackle by Ryan Schwartz.
And you start to see the first of the first half adjustments by the Thunder. They're spying Schwartz the whole way on this passing attempt. He is mirroring Lanen in the pocket, and when he sees him take off, he goes after him, and he's got speed. He's not going to run away from that guy.
This is a huge 3rd down early on. Again, can Wheaton's defense hold the field? North Central did not punt last week.
Nickel package in the game, 3 down linemen, the extra DB is in. You've got Sheffley mirroring Kaminsky in the slot with a safety over the top.
Egbert jammed down on Blake Williams underneath. Looking right is Lanen. 3-man rush. Climbs. Looks to escape. He's got room. Egbert's going to close it down at the 21. Well short. North Central wants a flag, but there was no contact to the head. He went up and over the body of Lanen as he gave himself up, and it should about a yard short of 4th down.
Yeah, there's no penalty there. It just happens on the Wheaton sideline, so.
It'll be 4th and a yard for the Cardinals. Actually, maybe even less than a yard. But again, precious seconds, so the play clock is stopped right now.
Thorne keeping his offense on the field right now. Of course, the play clock hasn't started, so there's no reason for him to make any decision.
Yeah, here comes a tight end, Alec Wolf. My goodness, 4th and less than a yard from their own 22. Wow.
All right, game on here we go.
4th and less than a yard from their own 22.
They're going to run over the left side would be my guess.
Greenfield moving to the right hip of the quarterback. Hard count. They will run option to the right side. Lanen's got enough. But a gutsy call by the Cardinals pays off. But that's a high percentage. You got less than a yard. You got to trust your offensive line, and the way the quarterback's been running the ball, it pays off for the Cardinals.
Yeah, Jeff Thorne is going to put his money on his freshman quarterback and his legs, and so far it's been working. That option to the field gives them a little bit more room to run. We'll see if the Thunder have made some adjustments on that.
1st and 10 up to the 28-yard line for the Cardinals. Trips left, split right. Going to throw the bubble to the near side to Kaminsky. Kaminsky steps upfield. Huge collision at the 32. Schwartz and Kaminsky along with the help of Grodelution from the safety spot.
Big collision there. I'm not sure. Well, pretty equal. Both guys had their helmets kind of up over their chin, over their face, and their chin strats up near their nose. So that's smash mouth football right there. You like that from both guys, delivering a hit.
Yeah, Grodelution stood his ground and wrapped him up. Kaminsky's been in some big collisions. He is a violent runner once the ball's in his hands. 2nd and 6 from the 32 for the Cardinals, with Greenfield in the backfield now on the right hip of Lanen. Quarterback power to the right side for Lanen, trying to cut it back against the grain. He'll get the 36, needing about 2 more for the 1st down.
And there you saw a little bit of the response, bringing some pressure off that side there to try to get pressure onto the quarterback off that quarterback sweep. It's just Herbert got his legs cut out from under him.
And Wheaton's got a man down. Actually, North Central has a man down after that play. Braden Anthony made the tackle on the backside pursuit.
That Ebert?
That's the left tackle, Will Ebert, who is down for the Cardinals.
That's going to bring Zach Fortier in, sophomore out of Oak Forest, 6'6", 278-pounder.
Ebert making his 20th career start for the Cardinals, and that left side of the line has been the preferred side to run the ball. As obviously you've got the 2 freshmen on the other side, but he is helped to his feet, which is a great sign. He'll be able to walk to the sideline with help from the trainers. That's a great sign to see for number 72, Will Ebert.
Yeah, you don't like to see that. You want everybody to be healthy in a big game like this all the way, especially down the stretch here.
Both teams coming out of week 1 or their respective week 1s healthy, which is a great sign. A lot of times you get that first hit of contact at a different speed and you can get some guys nicked up early. Both teams coming out of their week 1 wins, avoiding those. 3rd and 2 from the 36. So for at least one play, it'll be Fortier there on the left tackle. We'll see how quickly Ebert gets himself back in the game. 4 wide receivers. Wheaton does bring pressure from the right side. They roll Lanen. Lanen, quick hitter, and it is incomplete. It looks, caught. It looked like it hit the turf and skipped in.
It sure did.
Boy, you look from here, you could see almost a bounce into the chest of D'Angelo Hardy. We're going to look at it again here on the replay.
And again, this strategy by North Central, their strategy is to looks like he might have had his hands on it.
He might have had it. Yeah, I think
nice
that's just
job.
a little shadow game being played on the eyes there as he went down to the ground to get it.
They're sprinting Lanen out of the pocket to try to keep him away from those tackles in this defensive line, trying to give him a little bit more room out there, and then letting the receivers work against those rookie corners.
1st and 10, Lanen looking to take a shot down the right side, and that is complete inside the 20. Corey Blair got right on top of Shafley down to the 19. Blair just his second catch of the year, but did a great job getting on top of the corner.
Missed a hold there on the left tackle who's in.
And a beautiful ball from Lanen. Corey Blair, a 6'1 senior out of Oak Park, makes a big play to get North Central back into the red zone. First drive of the second half, North Central converted on 4th and a yard from their own 22.
The left tackle that is actually in for Ebert is Justin Richardson, a freshman out of Hazelwood, Missouri, Lutheran North High School.
And North Central is going to use a timeout here.
Boy, you don't like burning timeouts in these early in the halves in these situations as a coach, because you really want them in your pocket, especially in the second half towards the end of the game. So, you know, Thorne's probably complaining about the start of the play clock, but it's always a risk when you get a ball down the field to get your entire operation, because that clock starts right away, a 40-second play clock. You got to get your whole team up there and get a play called and be ready. And they were running out of time. They had to use a timeout.
Richardson, one of a couple offensive linemen from Lutheran North. The starting right tackle, Jeske Maples, also a product of Lutheran North High School. Played for Carl Reed in the Missouri powerhouse down there.
So North Central coaches are trying to avoid the pressure by sprinting out Lane and getting him outside the pocket. You see Kaminsky lined up as a wide receiver to the bottom. He's usually lined up as a slot.
Jet motion. They will play fake and move Lanen back to the near side. Dumps off to Hardy. Lanen took a big hit. Hardy in a race for the pylon. He's not going to make it to the end zone, but he's going to be pushed out of bounds. I think it's going to be roughing the passer. Lanen went sprawling after he threw that ball. He's brought down at the 5.
They had Hardy lined up on the line of scrimmage to the right, to the top of the formation. All the action went that way, and he waited and delayed and came behind the line of scrimmage into the flat, and the Thunder had vacated that flat.
Roughing the passer is the call, as a late hit to the quarterback, Lanen, say he was shoved after he threw it. So it'll be half the distance at the end of the play, and 1st and goal down to the 2.5 for the Cardinals. So they bring in the big tight end, Cody Hart.
This is going to be the Ethan Greenfield and Luke Lanen show down here, would be my guess.
Would be surprised if the ball goes in the air at all. Givus to Greenfield on 1st down, looking for a seam. He finds just enough, and he's into the end zone. Touchdown, North Central. Just as Wheaton took the opening drive of the game for a touchdown, North Central does the same to start the second half.
And again, as we mentioned in the first half, Jesse Scott focusing his team on the ebbs and flows of a big game like this, that there can be things that happen that aren't in your favor, and it's really not about what happens at that point. It's about how you respond. So the Thunder with a great opportunity now. They'll get the ball back. The offense hasn't been very effective since the opening drive, and they're going to get an opportunity to try to move the ball as they get it back after North Central takes the lead now 14-7.
Extra point is good. Jesse Scott talked in the pregame show about the boxer Roberto Duran and how he talked about, I love getting hit in the mouth because I know I can deliver 3 blows back, and how that has been the mantra for this Thunder team leading into it. We're going to take a punch, but we've got to be able to deliver 3 in return. And so he's going to have an opportunity to deliver the first counter blow here as they get the ball back with 9:40 in the third quarter.
I'll remind people that over the last 5 years, Wheaton has been trailing in these games many times in the second half. And I think 5 of those 6 games, including in 2019, they were down 21-14 about this time in the third quarter, and close the game really strongly. They're going to have to do so here. Their offense is going to have to get going. I want to see a lot more Giovanni Weeks. You really have seen a focus on the pass game so far in the first half. As we mentioned, they've only run the ball 11 times in this game so far, and with a player as talented as Giovanni Weeks and an offensive line that can do a good job run blocking, you want to be able to run the ball, especially, and they've also challenged Jake Beasley probably a few more times more than they should have.
Raines with a very short kick. It's going to bounce at the 30, and I think North Central's got it. We talked about it last time. The kicks are short, and the Gunners just turned and ran. North Central's got it at the Wheaton 30.
Yeah, the back guy, the guys in the back, when they see that, they have got to sprint to the ball. They have to absolutely all-out sprint to catch that ball. And you can signal fair catch, you can do whatever, but that's their job, is to communicate with the up backs. The up guys are taught to go and block. and to keep those guys from coming down. First turnover of the game there, and a big one, as North Central takes the opening drive of the half down to score 14-7, and now has the ball knocking on the door of the red zone here after the miscue on the kickoff.
It almost happened last time, Doug. We talked about it. The returners are too deep. They're waiting at the 5. Raines has yet to get a kickoff past the 10.
And the wind is in his face in that direction, just what little wind there is.
So we'll see after the change of field with the punt return of Rummel last time. They took a shot and scored on the first play. We'll see if they counter and do the same here. First and 10 from the Wheaton 32. Rolling to the left is Lanin. Pressure in his face. He's going backside. Huge hit. Caught and brought down shy. And Wyatt Lee's trying to say that's an incomplete pass.
Yeah, they started Kaminsky in tight formation on the left all the way across the field, and out and up is what he ran. And the linebacker, Wyatt Lee, smartly actually saw him. Otherwise, it would have been a walk-in touchdown. He got down there. But now North Central, again, a play that they obviously had game planned against this defense. And they have first and goal at the 1 after the miscue on the kickoff of trying to take control of this game with 9:23 to go in the third.
North Central's going to have to control their sideline over there. They've got all the undressed players right down there, almost on top of the sideline. So it's first and goal from the 1 after the pitch and catch to Kaminsky. And again, last time it was Greenfield, I wouldn't expect much different. It's Greenfield again, and he is short. Going to be second and less than a yard. Nice job coming down the line by Braden Anthony and grabbing his legs before he could really drive.
Well, what that sets up, I mean, they're gonna pound him again in there probably. The issue is now you've got Lanin who can just pull that ball out and run, and you got to have someone on the edge. If you're going to crash down on Greenfield, you got to have somebody watching for that quarterback to pull it out. They may not do it here. They may try Ethan Greenfield again. That's what I'd do.
Worth noting, Will Ebert's back on the field already, so good to see that for the Cardinals. Again to Greenfield, Lanin on the keeper, tried to get to the edge and well defended by the Thunder. And did that ball come out? Schwartz is saying the ball's out.
And do the refs agree with him?
We've got to get to the bottom of the pile. They've at least stopped the clock. North Central now saying they keep it.
And they do.
And a hand goes up. Wheaton football. What a stand by the Thunder defense up against their own goal line.
Boy, I tell you what.
Luke Amicha comes out of the pile with the football.
Braden Anthony with the play of the game right there, not getting sucked in and staying on the quarterback keeper. Jeff Thorne rolling the dice with his freshman QB in that situation. I'm not sure I wouldn't have given it to Greenfield at least one more time.
I think Greenfield's getting the ball 4 straight times if I'm the Cardinals there. But now Wheaton's got to get off the shadow of their own end zone. Big package here for the Thunder. Gio Weeks the lone back as Anthony drops under center. And they're just going to quarterback sneak it away from the line. So they'll at least get, it looks like 2 on that play, get a little bit of room to operate.
When you're stuck in your shadow of your own end zone, you're trying to get it to the 5-yard line. The reason being that the punter typically stands 15 yards behind the ball on a punt. So the number one goal when you're backed up is to get it out past the 5 at a minimum to give you a normal punt operation.
Jeremiah Tucker is going to be the quarterback here as Anthony jogs off the field. Try to spread this defense out and give him a different look. Maybe even slow down a bull rush here. Going to move Weeks to his right hip, second and 8 after the QB sneak. Tucker back to pass, has time, has room to run. 5, spinning to the inside, and he will get the 10-yard line, maybe even the 11. So 3rd and 2 after a nice sachet out there by Jeremiah Tucker.
They're going to stay with it. I like this.
Gives North Central a completely different look to defend.
Well, Tucker's got a strong arm. They're going to bring him out now, but Tucker's got it. They're going to bring in the Hibben package as Derek Johannick comes in as the center, which will put Hibben as the up-back fullback in this 3rd and short.
And it's only a yard to gain here, as they did give him the 11-yard line.
Now they got Spencer Peterson lined up as quarterback. This is going to be a toss.
Here comes Anthony.
This is a toss sweep to the right.
Yes, it is, and they've got a little bit of room. They got a first down as Giovanni Weeks out across the 15. North Central expected it to go inside, and Wheaton goes outside to move the chains, and a massive first down for this offense.
So they line up with Spencer Peterson at quarterback and Luke Anthony on the wing, and then they shift Spencer to the wing and put Luke at quarterback and run the toss behind the big tight end, and they get the first.
So you've got Tucker back on the field immediately. Ledbetter and Matthew Tucker to the left side, Torini to the right. Tucker and Weeks together in the backfield on 1st and 10. Tucker on a keeper to the left side. JT looking for room, and he's going to be brought down in the backfield. Nice tackle at the 14-yard line by Taviani.
And again, we talked about controlling the line of scrimmage, includes out on the perimeter, and there Taviani just beat Tucker's block out on the brother Tucker's block out on the perimeter and tackled him in the backfield. You got to win those blocks. You got to be physical on the perimeter. That includes, especially in the running game, if you're going to be successful running the game in today's game, perimeter blocking is a huge part of it.
Let's asking Matt Tucker at 5'9", 180, asking him to do a lot to block the 6'02", 205. Back off a play fake, Anthony across the middle, looking for Torini. What a catch at the 34. Holds on high and away from the body.
Anthony takes a big hit there, but delivers a great ball and a great catch there by Torini, a big-time player making a big-time play. He just lays out there against tight coverage. Nice play by two great seniors.
Nick Rummel trailing him across the field, converted wide receiver, and again, it worked for Beasley, so they've got something to turning their wide receivers into defensive backs. Jet motion, give us to Weeks on a counter, dancing back inside, give him a yard across the 33, shy of the 34. Well defended there as the defense collapses into the middle.
Great drive by the Thunder after getting the fumble with the North Central, had 1st and goal at the 1, stopped Greenfield on 1st down, gets the fumble from Lanin on 2nd down, and now they've come off the shadow of their own goal line to bring it out here to the 33. Can they keep it going? 2nd and 9.
5.5 minutes left, third quarter. North Central drove 5 minutes on the opening drive of the half, including a 4th and a yard pickup from their own 22. North Central is trying to say Wheaton jumped, no call. 2nd and 9, play clock at 10. Anthony will step back, completed looking for Peterson. Incomplete to the sideline, and it'll be 3rd and 9.
A little too much heat on that ball.
Yeah, you want to let him run out to the sideline.
Well, you want to put it right on him, but you also have to balance putting it on him with the tight coverage, so you're trying to get him out so he can stretch his hands a little bit. So that's a little bit of a tough throw. But again, that was Lindmark guarding him, and they put Lindmark was a starting corner last year. They moved him to safety because Wheaton, with Nichols in the slot last year, really torched their safety. So they needed someone who could cover a little better, and that's Lindmark. He's done a nice job.
Big 3rd down here as Wheaton trying to continue this drive that's come off their own 1-yard line. Well-protected pickup. Now Anthony scrambling. Anthony with room to run. Anthony with daylight to run. 45 sliding in the middle of the field.
Nice job.
Great pickup by the Wheaton offensive line, and Anthony sidestepping trouble to get Wheaton to midfield.
So all the leading rushers in this game are all named Luke.
They just ran a stunt with Taviani clearing the lane for Gilroy to tuck inside, and that's who Anthony dodged, and then wisely protecting himself in the middle of the W.
Impressive drive from Wheaton that started at their own 1-yard line, now about to cross midfield into North Central territory with 4:40 to go in the 3rd.
Hibben in the backfield leading Weeks. Under center on a play fake. Ball's on the ground. Nope. It's a fake, and now Anthony's going to have to throw it away.
Oh, man. They were on his legs. On Anthony's legs. They hit him low.
That's a design trick play by the Thunder, almost a fumble-rooski look. This is Lindmark who comes through.
That's a low hit. That should be called. That is a personal foul. The ref missed that.
Still in the pocket, I think, is probably the important designation there, depending on how you designate that. But Anthony looked like he bent a little funny, so good to see him get up and stay in the game. 2nd and 10 at 40 from the 47. That's where they said the knee went down on the slide. Nice discipline by the North Central secondary, not falling for the eye candy. This is Weeks on the counter. Weeks will burst inside to midfield and spinning, fighting for every yard he can get. Should have gotten to midfield, and it'll be 3rd and 7 for the Thunder.
And that's a little counter run play again that Mount Union ran against North Central in the playoffs last year with great success. and they got that off that tape. And they haven't had quite as much success with it. They have a couple different ends in here. And the guys, they had Tommy Highland last year who would chase that ball, start to chase that down block of the tackle, and they're trying to pin him and bounce that out. And they haven't gotten that success yet on that play tonight.
3rd and 7, Beasley to the near side following Torini. 3-man rush. They're going to take a hit with Torini. Torini got on top. He's tackled. No flag. He tackled Torini at the 18-yard line.
Yeah, the North Central guys would probably say that he just tripped, but that's still a penalty.
Right in front of the official. Yeah, trip or not, once you make contact at the legs and take a receiver down, that's a pass interference.
That is. Two pretty bad missed calls by the officials on this drive. The low hit on Luke Anthony and then that one there.
And Jesse Scott is out on the field asking for an explanation.
He's called timeout.
He's going to have to. It took too long to get things turned around after that play.
And now you got 4th down. And again, I'm not a big fan of it. You got a drive going on 3rd down. You're going to challenge North Central's best player. Now, you got a great player with Torini, but you have an equally great player. And, you know, I don't mind making that challenge, but I'm not sure I do it on a 3rd down when, you know, your odds of success, maybe they're 50-50, maybe you think they're 60-40, but I like a little bit more ball control type of a play. Try to get something to a slot receiver or something over the middle, which they've been able to do. Those linebackers drop back so far, being able to get a back out of the backfield. You needed to pick up the 1st down there. All that said, a very successful drive by the Thunder. They came off their own 1-yard line. They got the ball back to midfield. Now you have the weapon, Bickle, who hopefully can pin them down there pretty deep.
Kind of misjudged it last time as he got a little too much under it. This time a little bit more of the loaf of bread kick, and he will drop it at the 5, and again it rolls in. Just the wind at his back, he doesn't quite have it measured.
Yeah, it's tough. It's a lot tougher. You know, he's really good at getting that ball to land on it with its nose pointed forward. And that wind, what little wind there is, there's enough of it kind of pushes the top of that ball over, and it lands with that nose pointed towards the top of the ball landed toward the end zone instead of back away from the end zone. And when it lands back away from the end zone, that's when you get that kind of check up or that bounce back, and it's just turning over a little bit on him.
So Milliken has scored in Rock Island to get within 14-13 of Augustana. The final score in St. Louis, WashU gets its first win of the year, 41-7 over North Park. Elsewhere around the conference, Carroll over Illinois Wesleyan, 34-33. Carthage over Elmhurst, 34-17. So Lanen takes the snap and play fake, rolls to his right, has time, now will tuck, and he will get to the sideline after a gain of 4.
Yeah, again, you just have to be really mindful of all your blitzes and all your rushes. They've got to come up the field because this guy, every time he's dropping back, he is getting up the ball outside the pocket. So your ends have to get up equal to the quarterback. Keep him in there. Let those 2 defensive tackles disrupt the pocket. But your ends have got to come up the field. Keep him in the pocket.
Lanen now with 16 carries for 80 yards. 2nd and 5 for the Cardinals. 3 minutes left, 3rd quarter. North Central trying to get a 2-score lead. Give us to Greenfield. Wheaton had a blitz coming, and Greenfield powers ahead, but a yard shy of the first down to gain. 15 carries, 31 yards now for Ethan Greenfield. Wheaton has bottled him up, but it's been the legs of Luke Lanen which have driven this offense.
This has been where, in this situation, they've been running that speed option look to the field, so you expect it kind of coming left. They got Terrence Hill, who's more of an open field guy. They might like a little bit better.
I wouldn't be surprised to maybe see him try to show that look and pop something deep. If it's to Hill reaching, and I don't know if he got there. That last contact drove him back. They needed the 30. They're not going to give it to him.
Yeah, but
they just went for it from their own 22. Let's not rule it out.
Yeah, they're going to go for it here if it's any guide.
Sure enough, no question. Nope, here comes the punt unit.
Wow.
Shocking.
Well, he's got the lead. Back then, I mean, you think that first half, coming out of the halftime, he really wanted to make a statement drive, and he needed to take some risks in a tie game, so he did.
Wheaton's got nobody back, and now Grote Lucian goes back.
Oh, they're going to keep a punt safe. Their defense is in there, so they just put the safety back.
But again, this is Raines doing the punting. Grotelution's way too deep here, all the way back at his own 33.
The key is to stop this punt from running. You got to go catch it.
Short kick, going to bounce at the 44, and we'll take a little bit of a Wheaton roll. That's fine. All the way down to the 38.
A lot of times in that punt safe, you'll put a punt safe your defense, but you'll actually take the safety out and put a returner back there, because so much of that, and Coach Swider used to preach this all the time, that hidden yardage, the special team yardage, that punt, you really want someone who is experienced to catch it, because that didn't take a big forward roll, but the worst thing you can get is that take a forward roll down to the 20 and you lose the field position that you've kind of established. Wheaton with a good field position here. Again, I don't like all the shots. I kind of like the control offense, running it, the short little passes. They've had some success there coming off the goal line. I'd like to see them get back to that.
1st and 10 from the 39 to start. Minute and a half left here in the third quarter. Here is Weeks on first down. Weeks with a seam. 45 bouncing to the outside. Across midfield, spinning down to the North Central 46. And Gio's got some juice. You got to feed him a little bit here.
Yeah. And again, that's a couple perimeter blocks away from going to the house here. Great offensive line blocking. McGill clearing out space off the left tackle. Tucker doing a nice job. Just lost our block a little bit there with the corner.
1st and 10 to the 46. This will be Weeks again, left side. Weeks trying to get to the edge, and a nice tackle made pursuing from the inside by the middle linebacker, Storm Simmons. Doesn't let him turn the corner, but this has been, Doug, we talked about in the pregame, this has been where Wheaton's big plays have come in the last couple of years against North Central. They've been running outside the guard, getting an angle run to the edge.
That's right. They have had a lot of success, and I like seeing them run the ball a lot more here. Storm Simmons, another one of those sixth-year seniors, wasn't supposed to come back, decided at the last minute to come back for North Central. A big cog in the middle of that defense.
Could be the last play of the the third quarter. 2nd and 8 from the 44. Jet motion, Torini. Play fake, pump fake. Anthony now looking, has time, and that is going to be incomplete.
Flag down.
On the North Central side of the field. Nobody really in that area, so this will be interesting.
Well, the line judge threw that ball from midfield all the way over here to the numbers at the 40.
I think the initial signal might have been ineligible downfield.
Yeah, because it was supposed to be a swing pass.
So the lineman probably released, thinking swing. So that's an alignment problem. If Matthew Tucker is the illegal man downfield.
Well, they lined up with, they had him covered because it was there to block, and so they had him covered up. It was supposed to be a swing pass, and then he ends up going out for a pass, which when you're covered up, you got to stay in. He was there to block the play design. So,
loss of 5. Not so sure that shouldn't be a loss of down as well, but it's still saying 2nd down. 2nd and 13. And now we've got a motion penalty.
Oh man, these are killers. 10 yards of penalties here. You go from 2nd and 8 to
2nd and 18.
2nd and 18.
Haven't been a ton of penalties actually called. That's only the 8th total penalty of the game. 5 against Wheaton, 3 against North Central.
1 turnover each. The kickoff miscue by the Thunder, and the Lannon fumble down on the Wheaton 1-yard line.
Don't need it all back. Just get yourself into 3rd and manageable here. North Central backing off. They're going to swing this into the flat to Weeks. Weeks 45-50. North Central 45. Weeks going to be close to a 1st down. He's going to be just 2 yards shy, and a great call there to get Weeks out into the flat, where he is a hard man to contain.
Well, he was a sprint champion in high school. He has got some wheels, so you can see how he just outruns a linebacker here who was on the ground and just gets up and takes off, puts the burners on. In the open field, he's tough to catch.
And that'll be the end of the third quarter. So Wheaton's going to have 3rd and a yard from the North Central 37 as we flip into the field, and all the offense has been going this direction today.
Well, it's going to be a big play here on 3rd and 1, and 2 years ago the game flipped on a 4th down that North Central didn't get at the start of the 4th quarter, and then one that Wheaton did get for a touchdown at the start of the 4th quarter, and then Wheaton was able to explode the game open and win by a couple of scores. So who's going to take the risks down the stretch here? Both coaches are probably going to be aggressive in what's going to be a championship fight. Everything you hope for is a one-score game. Thought it would be a defensive battle down the stretch. North Central coming in with probably their best defense that they've had in a number of years and a great secondary. And the Thunder, of course, had the number 1 ranked defense in the country 2 years ago, and they have the entire defensive front back. It hasn't disappointed yet. As the statistics come in, total offense, Wheaton 41 plays, 254 yards, including 20 rushes for 96 yards. Luke Anthony is 12 of 20 for 158 and a touchdown. And Giovanni Weeks now 10 rushes for 45 yards, 4.5 yards a carry. I'd like to see him get that number up a little higher.
Like this look here, putting Jeremiah Tucker on the field here on 3rd and 1. Give them a little something extra to think about. McJunkin motions down tight to the line.
Bringing pressure. They're going to bring 2 backers off the outside.
See if Wheaton can get something to the edge. Hard count, gives straight ahead to Weeks, and Weeks breaks through, has a 1st down. He got to the 35. He only needed the 36.
More 3rd quarter stats. North Central 50 plays, 346 yards, including 33 rushes for 113 total yards. Again, committing to running the ball, just 17 pass attempts. Luke Lanen is 11 for 17 for 233 yards and 1 touchdown. He's been sacked once, and he had the 1 fumble. Kaminsky with 5 for 79 on the receiving end. D'Angelo Hardy with 4 for 102. Weeks is the leading receiver for the Thunder, 5 for 75.
A little check to the sideline here for Tucker as they check the defensive coverage for North Central. Luke Anthony giving him the coverage here. Play clock's at 5. Weeks moves to the left hip. Snap back with 2. This is Tucker on the keeper. And Tucker gets inside the 35 to the 33 as Anthony will check back in here. 2nd and 8 upcoming for the Thunder, but the more you go, you're deep enough. This needs to lead to a touchdown here. Obviously chasing 7, but I don't think either team really trusts their field goal operation too much.
Yeah, this is going to be 4-down territory unless you're in kind of, I think, inside the 20. You'd start to think about kicking it. If it's inside the 20 and a 4th and maybe more than 6.
Spencer Peterson going to motion out to the right side and set up on the outside. Now Beasley checks down tight with him. Give to Weeks. Weeks was looking for an edge. He had a yard or 2. Going to bring up 3rd and I think 6. And a big one for both teams because like you said, Doug, this looks to be 4-down territory, but North Central's defense has been on the field a lot, probably for the last 10 minutes or so of this clock.
You're just not getting that running game on the left side there. You're outnumbered a little bit. You're not getting guys up on the linebacker. So the defensive linemen, Martin and Gilroy, not making a play, but they're tying up the offensive linemen to allow the linebackers to come in and kind of stop Weeks on that one for just a yard or 2. Big 3rd down here.
3rd and 7. Anthony's 12 of 20 for 158 yards and a score. Peterson motioning out to the left side. They've got no help over the top if they want to look for Spencer. Quick hitter to Turini. Makes the catch. Takes a hit. He's going to be about 2 yards shy of a 1st down. But like you said, gets it into the whole playbook here on 4th and 2.
Yeah.
They're going to go quickly to the line here. Not sure if they have a personnel they like, but I don't think they want to give North Central a chance to adjust who they have on the field. We have seen a lot of Daniel Ledbetter at wideout tonight. He is outside of Tucker. Turini to the left side. Peterson.
Big play here for the Thunder.
Peterson set left. 4th and 2.
Bringing the outside linebacker pressure again.
Peterson in motion. They'll roll Luke Anthony to the right side. Anthony looking for time, and it is incomplete. Put way too much on it, intended for Ledbetter. Again,
Yeah.
just let him. He's got the inside. Just lead him to the sideline.
Well, they were trying to get Tucker on the out and up, and the corner didn't bite, stayed with him, and so the outlet was to Ledbetter, and yeah, he just put a little too much on it. He's got to put it right on him. So the Thunder don't convert, and now the defense's job is going to have to be to get off the field with 12-12 to go in the game here.
Defenses have had their say today, but it has been the legs of Luke Lane and that have been the most consistent contributor for the Cardinals. He's taken some hits here in the second half, but he has continued to drive forward Can he put his Cardinals into a deep drive here, take a lot of time, and maybe even put them up 2 scores? They will option to the right side for Lane and Wheaton with great flow coverage, and Schindeldecker will swing him down at the line of scrimmage for no gain. And again, Doug, we've talked about running it to the boundary compared to running it to space, and that time they run it where Wheaton's got a lot of bodies already.
Well, the ball's in the middle of the field, so it was kind of balanced right there. But yeah, they also slanted that way, and they had it called out. So they're going to get Lanin on the perimeter. So you just got to know that's going to happen. So you either got to bring a safety off the edge, somebody to pull him up. You can see here now to the field they have Kaminsky lined up all the way wide, and they generally are sprinting to him in the pass game. Usually he's in the slot, but here he's at the wideout.
Lanin looking straight ahead. Pressure coming, and he's going to go down all the way back at the 14-yard line. It was the defensive line that swung the game in the second half, sacking Brock Rudder. This time it's Holiday all the way back, and it'll be 3rd and 22.
They had a twist where Braden Anthony kind of crashed down on Sharmore Clark, and Will Ebert is supposed to bump off of that, but he got his shoulders turned, and the little loop around by Jake Holiday, he ran a tight circle like they teach him, and he came downhill and got home.
This is going to be big for Wheaton to not give up too much here. You've got a lot of field position coming up after this.
Again, this is where they're sprinting out to the field. They have Kaminsky lined up all the way up
They're
top.
They're going to flood it.
You've got to pull the quarterback up.
They're going to flood that side of the field, you have to think. 3-man rush. They're setting up the screen. It's tipped and picked off by Holiday.
Nope,
incomplete. They're waving
it.
It incomplete. Well, that would have been an amazing individual play by Holiday. My goodness. What recognition here. He's pushed forward.
He felt the bat, so he knew he was a screen. Look at him get his hand up in the air. Oh, man.
Just loses it off the shoulder pad. But a great hold by the Thunder defense, and we'll see if they can swing the field shortly here. Tucker back to return. It'll be Raines to punt from his own goal line.
He's about right with the wind at his back. Now he's getting a little too deep here, the returner. You got to catch this in the air.
And he's going to let it bounce, and it's going to take off. He's going to take it on the hop to at least minimize it. Makes the first guy miss, so he's going to get some of it back. And he gets out of bounds at the North Central 40. So he ends up only losing about 5 yards on that. But still, Doug, there's just no awareness. Raines doesn't have a big leg. They've got to have those conversations.
He hasn't kicked it that far any of the games. So you got to line up tighter. So you got to be able to sprint to that ball and catch it in the air. That one hop, you lose another 15 extra yards.
Well, and if he doesn't catch that hop, that's inside the 20.
Yeah. All right, big chance now. The North Central defense has been stepping up the whole game here in terms of not really getting a lot of pressure up front, but their secondary has played extremely well. I'd love to see the Thunder do a ground control attack here, give it heavy Giovanni Weeks on this drive.
1st and 10 from their own 43 after the return, and they're going to air it out on 1st down. Looking to the left side, complete to Ledbetter, spins outside, has a 1st down, just past the sticks to the North Central 46.
And that's the kind of throws they're going to give you, these perimeter throws out there, the short little stuff. You can get those little outcuts or those hitches and move the sticks. North Central's not going to give up a big play here. They're going to make you drive down the field and earn it.
Taviani makes the tackle.
Gotcha. Yeah, I don't want to move you, sorry.
1st and 10 from the 47. Anthony, 14 of 23, 173. And does have the short touchdown pass to Spencer Peterson. That was on the first drive of the game. Back to pass again. Looking left, Tarini got on top of Beasley, and it's going to be broken up. He didn't lead him enough. But again, they're trying to pick on a preseason All-American.
I don't understand. I mean, I like the down selection to pick on him there a little bit. You got to air it out. You're throwing that ball into the wind, so you really got to heave that sucker. But we have challenged Jake Beasley a number of times when they got a rookie corner on the other side who we haven't. Last time we challenged, we got a 1st down. So I still really like comeback with Giovanni Weeks. Get the ball on the ground. Get some ball control into your slots and your tight end.
And get him off tackle. That's been really where he's had the most room to work with. 2nd and 10. Inside of 10 minutes left. Battle for the Little Brass Bell. I'm Rusty Lindsay alongside Doug Rothschild. Thanks for joining us tonight on WTSN. Pump fake, looking to the right side to complete across the middle. Matthew Tucker spinning. Going to be close to a 1st down. Be about half a yard short.
That's what you want. Those little over-the-middle passes. Their linebackers really fly out of there against the pass. You can see they get back there around 12, 14 yards.
Here's Weeks. Nope, this is Anthony on a keeper. Nice call there, and he slides down. at the 32-yard line. They called it twice, and it's been effective both times.
And this is where your senior quarterback's got to manage the game. He's been in this situation before. He knows what this is like. You're under 10 minutes to go. Big drive, big game, home field. He's got to make the plays. You got to lean on these guys. Torini's the other guy you're trying to lean on.
Torini's got 3 catches, 36 yards, and it's a little thing, but you love the quarterback going down, moving forward instead of sliding. You gain a couple extra yards that way. Checking to the sideline, and they're going to move Nate Magnuson all the way out. Magnuson's a guy who saw a lot of time in the slot last year. 1st and 10. 4-man rush for the Cardinals. Gilroy breaks free. Anthony makes him miss. Now pressure from the inside. Throwing, looking for Torini, and the linebacker Simmons never turned around, and it's right between his back numbers.
Yeah, he didn't make any kind of. It's good play by Simmons, staying disciplined, keeping his hands out. Again, we got beat on the right tackle there around the corner. Anthony doing a good job. Anthony, if he just puts a little air under that and lets him run under.
Oh, he did have a safety coming down, so he didn't have a whole lot of room there.
Big 2nd down here.
Dan Gilroy's had a lot of success with that spin move today. We have seen him break free quite a few times working against Wheaton's right tackle, Graham Wall. 2nd and 10 from the 32. 8:57 left in this one. It's been a fantastic defensive battle. Two running backs, Singleton and Weeks. This is Weeks straight ahead. Weeks shucking tacklers, and he's going to be down to the 27 and a huge hit. 3rd and 5, and again, you're in 4-down territory. That's Ben Wong who makes the stick.
I like it. I just like that run on 1st down instead of 2nd down. Because you'd like to be 2nd and 5 instead of 3rd and 5. So
McNeil Stout into the game. He'll be teamed with Ledbetter to the right. Torini matching up as he has all night with Beasley to the left side. Burt McJunkin is the tight end, tight to the right side.
You got man coverage. They're going to bring some pressure with the linebackers, it looks like, up the middle.
And Luke's pointing it out. He's going to shift McJunkin in and send Matthew Tucker out to the left side. Twins. 5-man rush on a delay. Anthony looking for Tucker. Complete. 1st down inside the 20-yard line.
And that's something, again, that's the play on 4th down. And 2 years ago, people remember that McNichols scored on. You have this guy to the slot to the boundary because Beasley is playing man-to-man. That guy releases outside to make sure Beasley has his back turned, and then the inside receiver just runs an out cut past the sticks against man coverage. He can come straight downhill and plant his foot, throw it on time. Almost impossible to stop.
It was a 4th and 1 that Nichols put the brakes on that route and took it to the house from about 45 yards. 1st and 10 down to the 19. Wheaton trailing. Oh, no. Snap is high and through the hands of Anthony. Pick it up, throw it away. Throw it away, and he does. Great recognition by Luke Anthony. The linemen aren't downfield. You've done it all right. Great job by Anthony to save the play.
Yeah, that's your veteran quarterback there. He sprinted back, he turned and looked, and boy, that would have been a big hole if he just runs and falls on it or they tackle him back there. Again, you teach these guys, don't make a bad play worse. So just pick it up, take your medicine, throw that ball into the bleachers, and live to play another day.
Singleton and Weeks splitting Jeremiah Tucker in the backfield. Matt Tucker right with Ledbetter. JT takes the snap. He's going to run it forward. Does not make the first guy miss. Rich was able to track him down from behind. He got 3. 3rd and 7. We've had an impressive series of 3rd downs here in the 4th quarter that Wheaton has had some success on.
7:20 to go in this game. It's a 1-score game. North Central leading 14-7. The Thunder trying to equalize on this drive as they're inside the red zone. This has got to be 4-down territory. The Thunder with both teams with two timeouts left.
Neither team has really used that first timeout wisely either.
Now you're under 10 with the play clock.
3rd and 8. Anthony's got him set. Play clock's at 5, taking his time. Now we'll look to the right side. Swing it to the left to Weeks, and Weeks dropped it. Weeks dropped it. Got his head downfield a little too early, and it'll be 4th and 8.
Again, that play is into the short side as well, and if he caught it, he wasn't going very far. He might not have got back to the line of scrimmage. Again, on this 4th down, if you're North Central, you're not going to give up a big play. You're going to. I'm guessing they're not going to pressure. They're going to let their defensive front try to bring pressure. They want to keep everything in front of them. So
this is where Wheaton's had success leaking Giovanni Weeks, almost on a little bit of a of a corner in. They're going to kind of angle him to the sideline and break him inside the middle linebacker and let him run. 4th and 8. They do bring pressure. It's picked up. Anthony's looking right, aiming for the pylon, and Torini.
Oh, he bumped him.
Wow. And
Wow.
another pass interference missed. He got there 2 steps early.
Absolutely hit him before the ball was there.
Not as bad as the last one, but that is a missed call. Right there's the initial contact, and you can see the cover. Yep. Boy, that's really not that close.
Well, again, that ball was thrown pretty far out in front of him, and you got to put that ball.
You almost got to bring him back to the sideline a little bit.
Well, it's tough because you have to throw the ball as the receiver's on his break. You can't wait till he breaks and then throw it because it just takes too long to get there to the field. So that's a timing route that you have to just be in sync with your receiver on, and they were just a little out of sync. So big turnover, 6:39 here. North Central's going to want to run the ball and get a couple first downs. That's the strategy here.
Have not seen much of Greenfield. Kaminsky, sweep motion. Give us to Greenfield to the near side. Greenfield will turn it upfield, and he will rumble up near the 30, pushed out at the 26-yard line. Nice job by Greenfield. Not a lot of space on the sideline, but he gets what he can. It ends up being about 5 or 6.
So the Thunder defense looking to get a stop here. They get 6 yards. This is going to be all runs. You're going to see that speed option play most likely to the field again, but they're going to be running the ball. They may look to the only thing they would probably do is sprint out to a little hitch route. And again, you see Kaminsky lined up as the receiver to the. He's in the slot here. Sorry.
Hill and Greenfield together with Lanin in the backfield on 2nd and 4. Lanin will fake, and this play is called dead. North Central called timeout right before the play clock expired.
Wow. A lot of clock issues there for North Central in this game. They've used a number of almost all of their timeouts to save a penalty. And they were going to throw it there. It looked like they were going to line up and throw a hitch to the field or something out to the field, a little possession route.
Yeah, and it's a little surprising. Again, I think if you're North Central, the way your defense has played, the time off the clock is just as valuable as the yards at this point.
Well, it's been a defensive battle for sure. 14-7 Cardinals, 6:07 to go in the fourth quarter. North Central's defense much improved from their 2019 defense, and that's in large part to the secondary that I think is really outstanding with Jake Beasley and Lindmark at the safety. Rummel's a converted receiver who's now playing corner, and then, of course, Dakota Cremines. This Wheaton offense has not done as well as anybody had hoped. Hopefully they get another shot here.
Option pass, and just going to chuck it deep. Kaminsky's running wide open. And Kaminsky's going to be brought down inside the Wheaton 30 all the way down to about the 24, and you can almost feel that play coming. As often as they've run sprint option, that hit was going to come.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And Herber had man coverage against Kaminsky, so the Wheaton defense, which came up big against its own goal line already once tonight, is going to have to do so again inside of 6 minutes left, already trailing by a score.
Big call there, and you knew, look, Jeff Thorne is not going to leave this a one-score game. He's going to do everything he can to extend this lead on the backs of his seniors.
Greenfield again. Ball's out! And Wheaton's got it! Wheaton's got the football. It's Dallas McCray. Unbelievable. And Sharmore Clark slow to get up now for the Cardinals.
Wow. Big hit on Ethan Greenfield there as he comes through. That guy never fumbles, but look at this. Braden Anthony comes underneath the block, and then you have, looks like Schwartz comes through, and then whose arm is that?
That's Holiday.
Jake Holiday reaches in and tears the ball out, and his partner in crime, Dallas McCray, those two big dogs make a play when they had to, give the ball back to Wheaton. Now, what's the discussion down here?
Sharmore Clark was banged up. I'm not sure what they're pointing to, though.
The clock, they're looking at the clock because it kept running, I believe, after the play, which on a turnover it should be dead. Well, the ball should be blown dead. And I don't know if the officials, I didn't see whether the officials waved their arms over their head to stop the clock or not. So the officials are gathering together to try to figure out what the clock should be. The North Central offense is actually still on the field.
Yeah, the fumble seemed pretty obvious.
They're going to give the ball back to North Central.
That was pretty obvious.
How? I'm not sure.
What are we doing here?
I'm not sure. Wow. Well, that's another missed call by the official. Pretty obvious from here, unless we missed something, but not sure how that happens. That ball was out.
That ball was cleanly out, and a clean recovery by McCray, too. So 2nd and 7 following what looked like a sure turnover. Wheaton bringing pressure. Lane stands it. Ball's out again. Boy, could this really be a ball don't lie situation?
Now we got it. Wow.
Wow.
And again, Jeff Thorne, no shortage of confidence there, throwing the ball with his rookie quarterback.
Boy, that just came out as he loaded it up.
Just fell out the back of his hand.
And then Holiday ripped it away from the quarterback, Lanen. Well, whew. Ball don't lie, I guess.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that play call. That's.
And again, I think I guess I get the logic if you're North Central. Wheaton thought they should have been off the field. You try to get him in a coverage breakdown immediately, but.
Well, they're trying to be aggressive and win the bell, but.
We'll see if it haunts them here. 5 minutes, Wheaton trailing by a score. Luke Anthony's looking for a legacy drive. They're going on a wheel route. And he is got his man down the sideline. They're up against the linebacker, Ben Wong. And it's Gio Weeks, who's over 100 yards receiving, and a little gimpy coming out of there.
Yeah,
but he's running it off.
This is a play. He comes out of the backfield and just runs down the wheel past the linebacker. They trust his speed. He is a track athlete, and he runs. Well, Ben Wong's running toe-to-toe with him, but a great adjustment there by Weeks to catch that ball.
Crowd trying to will Wheaton down the field here. 1st and 10 from the North Central 43. Sam Singleton is the running back now after Weeks kind of hobbled off a little bit. Anthony again, play fake. Has time. Over the middle, complete to Torini, down to the 35, and Torini holds on. Contact from Lindmark.
Wow,
so this Wheaton offense picking up a little bit of momentum now.
Multiple pump fakes right there.
I'm throwing backwards, too. That is not what you would call textbook footwork.
Big time catch by Torini, though, under pressure. Guy right on him, takes the hit as he's catching it, secures the catch. 2nd and short here.
2nd and 2, inside of 4 minutes left. Wheaton defense.
This is where the North Central likes to bring some pressure, but it looks like they're playing zone here.
Yeah, they have. They've brought pressure on 2nd down a few times here in the second half. They do not. Singleton out of the wheel. They throw into the flat, and he dropped it. Man, they had it for a 1st down.
Just put it right on him. And again, Luke's got a little bit of juice on those flat routes tonight, and he's played really well. That one you just want to put right on that guy and let him turn back to the inside and fall forward in front of the sticks. Big 3rd down here.
Yeah, worth noting, Gio did not go to the training table, so he looks like he's got the helmet on, good to go. But he will stay on the sideline for this 3rd and 2 from the 35. Safety is about 10 yards off the ball. They do not bring pressure. They throw it into the flat for Singleton, and he dropped it again. Right in the bread basket and dropped, and here comes Gio on 4th and 2. Good ball that time from Anthony.
You're down to 3:37. The Thunder do have 2 timeouts. But this is obviously the biggest play of the game for the Thunder. They got to convert.
Got his head looking upfield with Jake Beasley coming downhill at him.
They have not been good on 4th down so far in this game.
Wheaton's 0 of 2. North Central's 2 of 4. And a huge one right here for the North Central 35. North Central brings pressure. Anthony into the flat, and it's too far.
I don't understand. I mean,
intended for McJunkin.
Your guys got to make a play. I mean, he breaks out on that thing. You got to put it right on him. And there was.
Yeah, and again.
So it's back on the Wheaton D again. Can they give the Thunder offense one more chance? They've had multiple chances, and they haven't been able to convert. Credit to the North Central defense a little bit, but really the last couple 4th downs has been the the Wheaton offense just not making the play they needed to have to. It wasn't like there was pressure. It wasn't like there wasn't open guys. You just haven't had the timing between quarterback and receiver that you would want.
1st and 10 from their own 35 after the change of possession. Quarterback sweep with Lannon, and Lannon's not going to get anywhere. Did they even? Nope, he does stay in bounds. Thought they might have ushered him all the way to the sideline. Wheaton's got 2 timeouts. We'll see how they choose to employ them here.
Jesse's holding it in his pocket for now, it looks like. Probably use one after this down if they can stop him.
2nd and 11. And North Central's offense has not been the hurry-up kind where we're used to seeing with Brock Rudder, but they've been a lot more deliberate tonight. And that will serve them well here. 15 on the play clock as they break the huddle. Alec Wolf is the tight end left. They've run a misdirection look to him once that he dropped at the 2-yard line. Look for him to maybe sneak out the backside. Here comes Herbert. Lannon on the draw, and Lannon's going to break free, comes back inside, and Lannon's buried at the 40. 3rd and 5 coming up, and Jesse's going to use a timeout.
Big 3rd and 5. You stop them here, they have to punt if you can get a stop here. I'd expect a sprint out. It's going to be a sprint out, could be a speed option, or it's going to be some sort of spread look with some hitches and some stuff to the outside to give Lannon some running room up the middle. This is where you want to kind of assign Schwartz potentially in a drop back look to mirror the quarterback. In a sprint out look, you got to get your ends to pull him up. He's got to get pulled up. You can't let him outside the pocket.
We've seen them a couple times. They're bringing Herbert off this right edge to not let him out of the pocket. I would have to think with the ball on the left hash, you have to at least, you've got to bring something extra. You've got to push Schindeldecker upfield to this side. You've got to bring Herbert again. But I would think if you're North Central, you want to roll Luke Lane into this near side, run some flood routes towards this sideline.
Well, you want to, he's a better quarterback running to his right in terms of throwing it than he is to his left. So let's see where Kaminsky's coming out to the right. I would expect them to run some combination with Hardy and Kaminsky, potentially sprint out look coming this way. And you can see they got the running backs lined up to his right.
Motion from Hill. Wheaton brings pressure. Lane is sitting in the pocket across the middle, complete to Kaminsky. Herbert's, and I don't know if he can catch him. Kaminsky's down to the 20, 15, 10, and he's going to be brought down shy of the end zone. But Andrew Kaminsky, when his number's been called here down the stretch, has come up big twice.
That's the play of the game right there. Had him in the slot against your best defender, and you just ran a little slant route, and you got across his face.
And now North Central will slow it down. It did manage to push him out of bounds, so the clock stops with 2:28 left. And North Central trying to ice this thing away right here and now.
Wow.
So, wow, that is big because they were on the shadow of the end zone there, and Kaminsky's going to, with a personal foul after the play, will push them back to the 20.
I didn't see what he did, but the refs clearly did.
So it'll be 1st and, well, I think that does bring the chains back in play, yeah. So they'll have a chance for a 1st down again, which at this point could end the game. Wheaton does have, I guess Wheaton does have the one timeout. So that marked back to the 18 as he was tackled at the 3. Lannon looking to the sideline here. Play clock at 10, and the clock just started running. A little unsure why it took that long to either run or not run. I think Jeff Thorne just used his last timeout, but there's definitely some miscommunication on the clock. It either shouldn't have been running at all, or it should have been running from jump there. There were 2:28 on the clock before that play was snapped.
It's interesting on the Kaminsky thing because he got tackled, and the only thing I saw him do is get up and go over to the fans that are over in the far corner, the North Central fans, and do a little celebrating with them. And maybe the refs called that, but that's not unnecessary roughness.
I don't know. He would have to push off to get up.
Maybe he high-fived Brock Rudder over there a little too hard.
The Reggie Bush penalty?
Exactly. Well, the Thunder still have a little bit of life left, 2:16 to go with the penalty. 155. They're going to put it back down. Well,
it was at 228. We've had a lot. Again, you don't want to say that this officiating crew hasn't had control of the game, but they are struggling on some pretty basic concepts tonight.
Well, they have let these guys play really on both sides, and as a result, they've missed some key calls. Certainly, the fumble call was a bad one, and a couple of them. But in terms of pass interference, there's been a lot of bumping on both sides, and they've generally let them play. So if the officials are being consistent and not calling it,
I don't understand what we're doing here. The play clock was at 25. It ended at 2:28, the previous play. So there's no way it could be at 1:55. To clarify what they're trying to sort out, the play clock was down to, it started at 25, around the 13. That's still wrong. Also, after a penalty, I don't know why it goes back to 40 here. It should be at 25 from a clock stoppage following a penalty. The time they got here is wrong. Just not sure.
Well, this game has been really about the missed opportunities for the Wheaton offense. They haven't produced enough. You can't win a big game against a top 5 opponent by only scoring 7 points. So, that's been the big factor. The Wheaton defense has done a great job. They were what they've been billed coming in. Their secondary is young. They've made a couple mistakes, but all in all, holding them to 14 points, getting a couple loose balls. I think they've gotten 2 or 3 turnovers. But the offense just hasn't executed the way they need to.
Give will be to Greenfield, running to the right side. Greenfield has a crease. Greenfield steps in. Touchdown, Cardinals. That should just about do it for this one. 18-yard scramble for Ethan. Greenfield puts the Cardinals up 2 scores. They've been knocking on the door a couple times, and they finally punch in.
That about doubled his run production for the game, I believe.
Greenfield entered that one 17 for 50. Nope, that would have been 16 for 37 entering that one, and he runs that one for 18. So 2 touchdowns will pad the stat line for Greenfield on a night that the Thunder have bottled him up. Extra point is blocked. I think that was Egbert coming off the edge, blocks the extra point by Thomas Mitchell. So it'll be 20-7 Cardinals with 1:36 left in this one. And Wheaton will have 1 timeout, but it'll have to be no huddle.
Well, they practice this an awful lot, obviously. They practice it multiple times a week and a ton in the preseason, the 2-minute drill. So, and they know what they're going to get from North Central. They're going to get the 3 defensive linemen, 3 deep in the secondary, and 5. They're going to get 3 deep, 5 under with three rushers. And they spent a ton of time this offseason scouting against that look to see what kind of routes they're going to get. And I think you're going to see some of those. And some of those you're going to see, some crosser routes from the opposite side of the field, as well as back out of the backfield a little bit.
Weeks and Tucker are back at the 5-yard line again after they've been burned twice on this.
Well, the kicker does have the wind at his back, it's going to travel a little bit farther, but I would move this whole operation up 5 yards for sure.
Absolutely.
All the guys in the back, from the 30 on back, there's 5 of them. They should all move up 5 yards.
So Raines will kick this one off, and again, it is short. It'll be fielded at the 10 by Tucker. Right up the numbers on the right side, 25 angling to the sideline, and Tucker goes head over heels at about the 32-yard line. So North Central's got a guy down at the end of that, writhing in pain. Can't see who that is.
I didn't see it on the replay either. 1:29 to go. The Thunder trail by 2 scores, trailing by 13 after the missed extra point by North Central. Jeff Thorne stayed aggressive this whole game. And Luke Lanen delivers to Kaminsky with the slant route to get him down into the red zone, and Ethan Greenfield finishes it off with a 16-yard touchdown run.
Well, those are really two plays that they've kind of been setting up for the length of this game. You had, as many times as they ran sprint out and quarterback sweep, that you knew that little pop was coming. That's the tight end Alec Wolf, who's been walking off, but it looked like it was more of a shoulder injury than a lower half.
Yeah, it's a big loss for them. Hopefully he's all right because he's played a lot of snaps tonight.
He's listed as a defensive lineman, but they've been using him as a third tight end.
He was a defensive lineman last year, I believe.
Still listed on the 2-deep at defensive end. So Luke Anthony is going to have to run this team all the way down the field twice now.
Here's that 3-man rush for North Central with the 5 under defense and the 3 deep safeties.
Yeah, they're bringing in an extra defensive back. That's D'Angelo Roberson in the game. Anthony going to drop off underneath to Weeks. Weeks has a first down, 45. Going to be stood up at the 46. Whistle blows. Stop the clock, hopefully, with 1:23 as the chains reset.
As I mentioned, that's a back out of the backfield, something they like against this defense because those linebackers are all going to drop pretty deep. The other thing they like is Tucker across the middle on a slant all the way across the field, clearing it out to the short side.
Wasting valuable time here underneath the Tucker, and a great tackle made. Nice play by Roberson, the extra defensive back here in this dime look. Gain of 4, down to a minute for the Thunder, right at midfield. 2nd and 7. Well protected all day to throw. Has a completion to Torini. Makes the catch for a first down at the 37. Do have to credit this Wheaton offensive line. They've done a really good job keeping a clean pocket for Anthony all night long. Spencer Peterson's got to figure out where he's lining up. He's wasting valuable seconds every play here. Back to pass. Anthony all day again. Complete to Torini. Has a first down to the 25. Clock stops with 37 seconds left. Wheaton still has its timeout. Clock now starting. Looking to the left side, Anthony. Complete to Tucker. But Tucker's going back to help.
You got to use your timeout here.
They're not. They're going back to the line.
They're going to spike it.
And they do with 18. So it'll be 3rd and 4. But again, Tucker's got to have the awareness to get towards the sideline and not back in where he's going to be brought down short of the first down. Yeah, I was going to say the down marker on the side says 2. That's definitely 3rd down.
Again, you got that 3-man rush, 5 under. And one of the plays I think they have is you might see Tucker from the top hash run all the way across to the short side with Torini spreading it out.
Pump fake. Anthony's going to roll. Boy, this play's taking too long. He's going to get the first down and out of bounds, but 10 seconds and another second rolled off. Not that it's going to matter in the long run, but and again, if you're North Central, you're willing to give up the score here. You just want to see the clock hit 0.
You got to throw the ball in the end zone here if you want to kick the extra point, have a shot at a recovery, and then one play.
One throw, yep.
But this ball's got to go in the end zone.
Spencer Peterson split to the right with Ledbetter, who is running all over the place here.
I think they want Spencer again one-on-one against Beasley. And Beasley probably wants that as well.
Yep, they're going at it. And Peterson can't make the catch. Nice play by Beasley. So this will be the last play of the game. North Central's got this one on lock. That'll be a return of the bell to Naperville for the Cardinals as they win. They're going to come out on top here of the marquee game so far in this D3 football season, sending a message that they are out here for a repeat. Delayed blitz. Anthony's going to lob it up looking for Peterson. It's incomplete.
Ref's not going to call a penalty on that play. No chance.
Not that they have all day anyhow, and it is incomplete. Final score, North Central 20 and Wheaton 7. An impressive signature victory for the Cardinals as they rush off with the bell, as they should. They made the plays when the plays needed to be made, and Wheaton's going to have a little bit of soul-searching to do as they try to recap this one and get ready for the rest of their season.
Not a lot of handshake going on out there, but to each his own. You can't blame them. They're excited. Those seniors have never touched the bell. They're getting a chance to do it for the first time.
Yeah, the coaching staff for North Central making sure that they take care of that for them. And Duke got to hand it to Kaminsky. He came over to grab the bell, but he runs right back to high-five the Wheaton guys as they walk over there. But an impressive showing for North Central, and Luke Lanen answers the call when he needs to down the stretch. And I think last year it was Brock Rudder's show, and I don't think it has to be for the Cardinals. I think they can ride this defense and just ask Luke Lanen to make to make plays when they need him to. But I think it's a very different recipe for success for them. But Wheaton's got to look at their offense here after they missed some big plays in week 1 against Northwestern and got away with it. But you see a much better defense tonight. And they're not able to get away with it against a pretty good North Central team. As we get the final statistics here. Looking at the overall stats here, North Central, actually the stats pretty even. North Central finishing with 414 yards of offense, Wheaton with 395. And Doug, I'll pass it over to you as you've got the full sheet now.
Yes, Wheaton 71 plays, 395 yards, includes 27 rushes for 120 yards, 44 pass attempts. Luke Anthony was 23 of 42 for 275 and a touchdown. Giovanni Weeks ran it 13 times for 53 yards, an average of 4.1. Luke Anthony ran it 6 times for 44 yards. On the receiving ends, Giovanni Weeks, the leading receiver, 7 for 119. Torini had 6 for 68. Tucker had 5 for 32. Spencer Peterson 3 for 14 and the touchdown. On the tackles, Ryan Schwartz 9 total hits. Dallas McCray with 7. Gamicio with 6. And Grodelucian with 5. Gamicio with the tackle for loss. Dallas McCray is league leading, another 2 tackles for loss there. On North Central side, 60 plays. They ran 11 less than Wheaton for 414. They ran the ball 41 times for 126 yards, only the second time in 5-6 years now that they've gotten over 100 yards, but they were committed to running the ball. 12 of 19 for Luke Lanen, 288 and a touchdown, as long as 55, which I believe was the last one, to Kaminsky. Receiving, Kaminsky 6 for 134, D'Angelo Hardy 4 for 102 and a touchdown, Corey Blair 1 for 39, Blake Williams 1 for 13. On the running side, Ethan Greenfield 17 for 557 yards, 3.2 yards a carry. He was averaging over 7 yards a carry after week 1. And on the tackle side, Dakota Cremines was 7, Lindmark was 7, Ben Wong was 7, Taviani with 5 on the other side. Possession, fumbles, two fumbles for North Central. So there's 2 turnovers, both of them by Lanen, I believe. And then the miscue on the kickoff was the 1 turnover for the Wheaton Thunder. Penalties, just 5 for 22 for Wheaton, so much cleaner game. 4 for 69 for North Central. Time of possession went to just pretty even, 30 minutes 54 for North Central, 29:06 for the Thunder. 4th down conversions, 2 of 4 for North Central. 0 for 3, which is really one of the stories of the game for Wheaton. Red zone scoring chances, North Central 2 for 5, Wheaton 1 for 3.
Yeah, the easy thing in the hindsight of this, the easy thing is to look at the missed pass interference penalties and say that those were huge. But Wheaton didn't execute. This was not a game plan that had the execution level that it needed. And I think the game plan might have even called for a higher level of execution than was needed in this game. That I don't know that they did themselves any favors with, like you said, taking shots against an All-American in inopportune times. And I'm just not sure Wheaton really set itself up for success on that side of the ball. But you also have to credit North Central. Wheaton's had weaknesses on them in the last few years that they were able to exploit. But the Cardinals did a great job with their game plan. They brought the safeties down into the box. They forced an unproven group of wide receivers to beat them, and they couldn't.
Yeah, I definitely think that the play calling was a little lopsided for Wheaton towards the pass. 27 rushes and 44 passes. they're much more closer to 50-50 most of the time. North Central obviously came in with a commitment to running the football, and they didn't get a lot of yards because this Wheaton defense is the real deal. But they controlled the game from that perspective and allowed Lannon to start to make a couple of throws and a couple when he really needed to down the stretch. So, credit North Central with a good game plan. They rode that defense, and their defense is much, much improved from 2 years ago on the backs of that secondary, which I think, to me, is one of the better secondaries I've seen. Their defensive line is pretty stout. There's not a lot of guys that are getting after the passer. They didn't pose much of a problem, but there just wasn't a lot of guys breaking free for the Thunder.
Yeah, I would wager to say Wheaton probably underestimated the North Central secondary tonight, and North Central secondary made a lot of great plays. You look forward for Wheaton. They're on the road now at North Park next week. Doug, we've seen enough, I think, now of the CCIW to know there are some questions for this conference to answer. The other game going on tonight, Milliken and Augustana, Milliken's got the ball first and goal at actually they're on their own 3. So that game is tied with a minute and a half left. But I don't know that from what we've seen, Doug, anybody's challenging these two teams. So it really comes down to Wheaton's got to clean this up. This now becomes an 8-game tune-up for what you hope is a playoff run, because that's the other thing is now you have to hope it's a playoff run. Despite how good we know this Wheaton team to be, their resume is not going to look very good in the big picture.
No, their strength of schedule, which is just we could argue a long time about how that's not a great measure of a team, but because of who they played the first week, their strength of schedule is going to be abysmal, and they're going to be a one-loss team if they run the table with just 5 bids. And if you remember 2 years ago, North Central, there was some thought that they might not get in with 1 loss, and they ended up winning the whole thing. So they arguably were the last one in the field and ran the table. So,
and I would argue that North Central's non-conference was in that year was far better than Wheaton's is this year.
That's right.
And I mean, this isn't. You can't rely on the rest of the conference to do the heavy lifting, but you've got, I think, 2 losses to the SLIAC already, the UMAC. You've got a loss to the Heartland already. The rest of the conference, the opponent down the line, Wheaton's resume coming to the table, as much as we'd like to, it might already have some holes in it, some big ones that aren't going to. I mean, now you've taken it out of your own hands, and I don't know that you like your confidence at 9-1 at the end of the year.
Well, you're talking about the math, and you'd also say if you talk to any of the coaches, it'd be ridiculous to not have this Wheaton team in the field if they run the table. They would be a weaker field as a result. So I'll believe it when I see it, but the numbers are going to be a problem down the stretch for sure.
Yep. So we will be back in a couple of weeks here at McCulley Stadium for homecoming. That will be October 9th against the Vikings. Wheaton will have road games at North Park and at WashU. WashU beating North Park earlier today, 41-7. So the Thunder will have to go on the road for the first time and see what they can do against the Vikings. And then, I mean, it's going to be a little bit of an uphill climb, but they've got a lot of things that definitely need to clean up. But that is certainly not to take anything away from what North Central did here tonight. An impressive performance by the defending national champs, and the Cardinals reclaim the bell for the first time in four meetings in the Bell series with a 20-7 victory as the Cardinals made the plays when they needed to and were able to come out of McCulley Stadium with the victory. Our thank you to our outstanding production crew at Sunrise Communications, covering all the looks and angles at this game. I'm Rusty Lindsay for Doug Rothschild. Thanks for tuning in here to Wheaton Thunder Football on WTSN. We'll be back for homecoming on October 9th.